Game over.
And what is up? Welcome back. It's Friday night. You're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I'm here with my boy Brian. Brian, what is up, my dude?
Yo, Chris, what's going? Well, first off, let me say before I even say how I'm feeling, that intro, that new and improved intro, sir. Tip of the cap.
What can I say, man? We're gamers at heart. I'm really trying to up the ante. I don't know. What's up, Rob? How you doing, man?
Yo.
You know, it's taken me a good minute, but you know, we had a good friend of ours, Harvey, from the New York area, a good artist from Fiverr, hit us up with some really nice gifts that we've had for a pretty long time. And we got yours recently, so I wanted to make sure that we were able to make this really badass intro. Of course, in time, hopefully we become a little bit more popular and, you know, bring in some fuzz and get to do it like super professional. But I kind of like rigged a really cool intro together, and I'm really happy the way it came out. I've never really done anything animation wise. It's kind of like a crack-a-lacking into it, you know what I mean? Like a nice little little footstep in the door. But yeah.
I just wanted to give my kudos to you, sir. I wanted to say
I want you guys to look super cool.
And
I want all the guys, the ladies and listeners out there to have a really cool experience, man, to be able to check this out and be all like, yo, dude, these guys, you know, come check out my boys, the Average Boys Podcast. You know, look at this intro. It's super pro. Check out these guys on their setup. It's super pro. Check out all the cool stuff that they talk about. They're super knowledgeable, and so knowledgeable, in fact, that, man, we didn't even really prep today because it's been one hectic fucking week for me. Brian said it's been a hectic week for him. I guarantee everyone out there in the listening lands probably had a pretty rough week for what it's worth. But yeah, Mike, what's up, my good man? Michael Betancourt in the comments.
Yo.
My dude from Morphin Mania, 100 Fan Convention, the dude, the myth, the legend, the man himself. Had a good weekend with him. We had an event this past weekend. You know, the Valley is it has its up and downs, but we had a really good time, really great, surrounded by really great people. And I mean, there's really nothing more you can ask for. The guests, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger people were really great. The Average Boys Podcast and Everyday Media, my boy Alex and Gilbert. We had the opportunity to work with one of the guests, Stephen Prince. We did a memoriam for a friend of his who had passed away, who was a producer on the Mighty Morphin show. So on our podcast page and on Morphin Mania's page and Harlingen Fan Convention, you can find Derek Prince's memoriam with the widow of the man who passed away, Scott Pagter. You know, good man. I mean, he did a lot of work. He was part of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, of course, a producer for a long time in the series. Dude, Beetleborgs, VR Troopers. Like, the dude was a G. I don't know if you remember. Dude, you remember VR Troopers?
I do remember VR Troopers.
Oh, man, it was so dope, man. That one was dope.
Absolutely.
That one was super dope. But, yeah, man, fun weekend. Great people, of course. And can't wait for the next one. This weekend, actually, as a matter of fact, the guys who've been sponsoring the podcast are hosting another outdoor vendors night with the collectors. If you guys are local, go check them out Sunday. I'll be out there for a little bit. I myself need to take a fucking weekend to drown myself in Epsom salt for hours and hours and hours to
what are you fucking
the impurities in my fucking body, dude. I feel it so bad, dude. The impurities in my soul, you know, in my back, my ass, my feet, everywhere, dude. I'm hurting, man. Yeah, I'm tired.
Yo, the week really got you. The week really busted your ass, huh?
Yeah, man. It's been rough. What's cool is, okay, So every week I come out here and I tell you guys, work's work. It's fucking tough. This week was no different. It's just that I went from the previous week of not having someone to train me and trying to learn everything kind of like on my own, then to the convention on the weekend, which of course was work nonetheless, all the way through, stress and fun altogether, and no break, right into Sunday, right into Monday, right back into it, all the way through, just fucking a driving force, no breaks. And by Wednesday and not only that, my boy Aaron Cortez, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I'm a mixed martial arts instructor, so I don't know how many people follow me on my personal stuff. One of my boys is signed up for a fight in May at Peak Fighting in Arkansas, so we'll be traveling across state to Arkansas to get my guy hopefully a win. But when he gets signed up, there's no fucking rest for the wicked. It's just violence every morning when we wake up. It's work, 1 hour of break, and then right to violence, dude.
When's the fight? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I just know it's in May. He's fighting a pretty veteran individual, man. So guy apparently comes out of American Top Team. He's a good striker, but folds under pressure. And my boy is nothing but pressure. One of the most exciting fighters in Texas. He doesn't fuck around. His name's Aaron Cortez, the Hitman. If you ever check him out, he's a fucking force. And I've put a lot of my knowledge into him. And if people, I've been around the MMA world for I've been teaching for like 15 to 20 years. I'm 40, so like almost half my life I've been just dedicating my life to just doing it over and over again. Yeah, dude, I got two of the guys I've helped out in the UFC, Gilbert Urbina and Elias Urbina. If you ever check them out, they're good cats. We were trying to get him on the show, but Gilly was on the fucking Ultimate Fighter on the last one. And he did the season finale and went all the way to the finals. He had gotten beat in the semifinals against the third guy. And then that guy busted his kneecap, and then Gilly had to be his replacement. And he put it on that dude, man. He put it on that dude. So good stuff. My boy's out there doing his thing. I talk to him every day. I have another fighter, Adonis Sauceda. He's out in Arkansas right now. He'll be fighting Peak tomorrow. He just weighed in today. They, just always busy. I'm like, it's like I told you earlier, I'm the most broke, hardworkingest dude you'll ever meet in life, man.
I thought that was pretty funny.
But like straight up, man, I just feel like I've stretched myself super thin. Like I had never experienced a mental breakdown before, but I think I got pretty close today.
Oh, you were like teetering, like you were right there.
Yeah, like I'm just right now, dude. Like earlier, right before the podcast, I was like, okay, I made myself dinner.
Okay.
So made myself my own personal poke bowl. I'm a big fan of ahi tuna. So I got paid and my money went to bills. So I have a little bit left over and I spooge, which of course, you'll know I'm a big anime fan. And one of my favorite animes growing up was GTO. If anybody's out there, great teacher Onizuka. Probably one of the coolest animes about a guy who used to be like in a hardcore street gang in Japan and then just wanted to be the greatest teacher. So he became a substitute and just started doing shit. But there's an episode that I just remember and it always stayed in my head. And he's having dinner with a student, right? And the student is kind of like a spoiled kid. And he gets a meal from his family, but his family's never home. So the kid really doesn't care because he doesn't get any attention from his mother and his father. So when he gets the food, he kind of like, it's like a what's it called? Like a boat of sushi.
Okay, I know you're talking about. Like the boats, right?
Yeah, but it's like a catering boat, like a small, you give it to someone like on the go or whatnot. Okay. And it has all the different fishes on it, the yellow tails.
What's your favorite? I want to know. What's your favorite?
Ahi tuna.
Ahi tuna.
You can turn it, you can cook it, you can eat it raw. Like it's $25 a pound right now, which is pretty fucking pricey. Yeah, dude, almost $40. But like the thing is it's what he says. The kid throws it away, and what's his name? Onizuka grabs it out of the trash can and he's like in tears and he's like, "What are you doing, you stupid spoiled kid? Like you can't do that. Like it's got tuna." And he says tuna is like the most expensive meat that you can buy on the market. So from there I was like, oh, so in Japan, tuna is considered like the fucking wagyu, fucking top of the notch fish. So in my mind, like the thing is like in Japanese culture, a lot of it has to deal with the essence of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, it's not even necessarily that the ahi tuna tastes like, oh my god, it's so amazing. Blah, blah, blah. It's the essence of knowing that it's like the most rarest, expensive fish. That meaning makes the fish taste better. It's like
Okay.
during the holidays when you used to drink sake back in the day, it never tasted good. It's like a really bitter beer.
I
Like
used to disrespect sake.
there's nothing good about it.
I
Like if you
would
drink it raw,
disrespect that shit and just
if
get drunk.
you don't like if some of it's flavored nowadays because it's catered to the westernized American version of what alcohol is. But back in the day, it was just a very bitter beer. Like it was even worse to think about it because of course it wasn't a brewery. There wasn't like all this crazy shit. It was just like raw. But samurai and all these warriors used to drink it because of things in nature that would make them feel that the alcohol tasted better for that moment. Does that make sense? So like if it was like on a holiday, the cherry blossom trees are all out in the open. Hey, let's drink some sake because the cherry blossoms are going to make it taste better. The essence of us drinking is going to make this moment even better. So when I watched this show and he said tuna is like the most expensive fish on the planet, you can't just throw it away. I've always assumed in my mind that to baby or pamper yourself, that would be the fish that you would get.
Okay. Is that your reasoning as to why you overpaid for some fucking fish today, Joe?
That's like, exactly the reason. That's the
exact what you have to tell yourself. You have to tell yourself that, yo, bro, it's because it's so, it's the essence of.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. That's
as
literally my driving force.
As you forking over this fucking money with a tear rolling down your eye, bro. All right, I get it. You just want listen. All you had to say to me was, bro, I just wanted to stunt. I had a few couple of dollars in my pocket.
That's all I have in my pocket is a couple of dollars
with some tuna. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd have been like, you know what? You deserve it.
I mean, I can't be very much if I'm eating tuna and drinking Red Bull as my
chaser. Why not?
As my chaser, right?
That is some baller shit, bro. That's some baller ass shit.
But yeah, it was a pretty rough week. I feel very good to be here because, of course, I'm surrounded by people I care about, and I am ready to talk nerd. There's some pretty interesting stuff that happened this week, of course. Probably right off the top of my head, the most interesting thing off of it, not a rumor, not a theory, not anything. Everybody finally got the Batman, and everyone is extremely fucking excited. I want to talk about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I know you've seen it, and probably a lot more people in the comments have seen it, and I can't wait to hear from you guys. We're gonna do a non-spoilers today because I still haven't seen it, and then later on, I have a special guest announcement that we're going to be having hopefully next week. I talked to him already, but he is working on Stranger Things. Yeah, he's working on Stranger Things. So, yeah, he's gonna hit us up a little bit. Well, he's gonna be on the show hopefully next week, and I'll explain who it is and where he's from. But Michael Betancourt put, I have the same sentiment with Meatloaf, the singer or the food. When I was in college living alone, I would make cheap meatloaf for my holidays alone. Thanksgiving dinner was meatloaf, and it meant you know what? As a matter
is he trying to call he's trying to call your tuna cheap, bro? He's like, I remember when I was eating.
I don't know, man. $23.
Your Mike leveled up. Nah, Mike leveled up. He's on some other.
As a matter of fact, Michael has a really good point. Meatloaf is probably one of my other favorite meals because it's slathered with ketchup, and I'm a big.
Have you ever had like? First off, that's totally disrespectful to put ketchup on fucking meatloaf. That's number one.
That's what's on it. That's the red sauce.
It's a fucking psycho. You're a fucking psycho. You're a psycho. That's number one. And then you almost made me forget my fucking whole point on the whole stick, bro. Because what are you doing putting ketchup on fucking meatloaf? That is just psychotic shit.
It's like the sweet tomato sauce that they put on it. It's very.
This is the reason why you have bad weeks, is because you're putting fucking ketchup on fucking meatloaf. The fuck, man?
That's horrible.
Bad omen. That's a bad omen.
Yeah, just thinking about it sounds bad already.
That's a bad omen. But yeah, the Batman. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna be talking about it today. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so guys, please be respectful to those who haven't seen it yet. Don't drop any crazy spoilers, but I want to hear your emotional content and drop it in there. But yeah, my other comfort food would probably have to be macaroni and cheese.
1000%.
Straight gangster.
1000%.
Easiest thing to do, man. I know you've been to the Valley once.
Do you put like ketchup on your mac and cheese too? Is that
no? Fuck no. I put Flaming Hots, dude.
All right. Okay.
I crush up Flaming Hots and I throw them on top because I don't know if it's like a big cultural thing over there where you're at, but like nacho cheese and Flaming Hots, do they do that up there?
No, but I am aware of parts in the world where you can get like nachos with cheese and mixed with like taco meat with it, and it'll be like a snack, and then you
Yeah,
put
that's
like
pretty gangster
flaming
right
hot,
there.
put
Like
flaming hots and shit on it.
if
Yeah,
you ever have a chance, like, and you just go to Walmart, pick up some like that nacho cheese in a can or whatever,
yeah.
buy a bag of flaming hots and just pour them in there, get it, and you'll trip out. You'll be like, holy shit.
No, you're gonna be tripping out on the fucking toilet in like
Well, I'm
20
not, dude,
minutes,
not even.
bro. What are you?
I
That's
was like,
Matt.
what?
What are you talking about?
Nah, dude, it's
Cheese
really good.
on cheese. All right,
Well,
cool.
cheese on flaming hots, man. Cheese on
Okay,
flaming hots.
all
Yeah,
right.
that's where it's at. But since that's like a real casual thing here, like everybody does it as a snack down here. So like high
Flaming
schools, junior
hots.
highs, everybody got the little 99-cent bags cheese. Like they rip it down here super crazy. But I kind of figured, well, you know what? Like, why not make it into a casserole? Why not smash up the flaming hots, throw it on top as a crumbs, like a bread crumb, throw it in the oven, crisp it on top, a little bit of bacon, a little bit of, smash it down, turn it into something. Oh, oh, turn it into something pretty casual. And yeah, it
Martha
turns out really,
Stewart.
really good.
Let me tell you, Martha Stewart would be proud of you, sir.
Man, Martha Stewart, if she gave me props, I feel street cred right there, man. That shit.
Yeah,
She
that
hung out
is
with Snoop
street.
Dogg.
Are you
She
kidding me?
spoke out with Snoop Dogg twice, dude.
Fuck Snoop Dogg. She went to jail, bro, and held it down like a motherfucking G. She ain't
Yeah.
snitch. She ain't snitch. She ain't did nothing.
She
She
did
sat.
Tekashi
She
6ix9ine,
sat down,
dude.
bro. She sat down and did her
She didn't do a
time like a
Tekashi
G.
6ix9ine.
Negative.
She fucking held it
Negative.
out real heavy. Yeah.
Absolutely. She
What
held
about
it
you,
down.
Brian? How was your week?
It was good, man. I mean, it was long. I'm tired as fuck. We barely made it on time. I was rushing home from work. I had a long day at work.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Chris said earlier, we have no pre-production. We are just winging this shit, bro. Like we are just, you know what I mean? Just free balling it today, guys.
Hi, Derpy. What's up? I haven't seen it yet. Brian's seen it. I'm
I've seen
guessing
it,
Trigger's
yeah.
probably seen it. I know Rob in the comments seen it. He's just wants to talk about it all day, but yeah, I haven't seen it. So try to be cool. Don't drop any crazy spoilers or anything. I do want to be surprised by all the cool stuff, but we're gonna talk about it. I want to hear your emotional content. I want to hear things that surprised you, things you weren't really like anticipating. There's some things that I want to get off of that my head and ask without being spoiled. So hopefully we'll be able to get to that a little bit later, but for sure, definitely.
Right, he ain't ready.
What happened?
I'm reading the comments. I don't know why my background is all fuzzy and shit, but you have my background. You have fucking. Yeah, I don't. I think it's about you. I don't think you're ready, man. You're not ready.
No, I'm
man.
definitely not ready, man.
Maybe
Dude,
I'm not ready. I don't know. I'm not.
It's been a crazy week, Derpy. It's been a really crazy week. So even before the show, I mean, Brian will tell you, my M50 wasn't working, so definitely I'm jumping on my Brio today. So I'm using a webcam today. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. But for what it's worth, I've heard nothing but great things for Batman, which, I'll be one of the first people to say, finally, DC's probably done something right, and I'm really excited. But I'm gonna hold my reserve. Of course, IGN, CBR.
So wait, are we jumping in? Are we jumping in it right now? We're doing this. We're doing it.
If you want, we can kind of pop a non-spoiler. I mean, the people in the comments, they want to talk about it and stuff like that. I'm pretty down.
Yeah,
the other thing I want to talk about for sure today is there's been some leaks and some stuff for Jane Foster's Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Gore's future and things like that, which I'm kind of up in the air about. And then a new cameo for Doctor Strange came out of one of the toy releases, and I kind of want to talk about that and see what you guys think about it to see how deep they're gonna go. So that's for sure. But yeah, like I said, I really don't want to drop any spoilers, but Brian, you're gonna take the reins on this. I want to know. So you got to see Batman or the Batman 2 days ago.
I did.
Right? 2 days ago or yesterday?
It was 2 days ago.
2 days ago. You had to see it like right when it got released, like a badass.
Yeah, man.
Of course, Robert in the comments too has seen it. Brian.
Yes.
First off, scale of Boba Fett to 10. Because Boba Fett was literally a 1.
Yeah.
Tell me, what did you think, man?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you, and Rob, I'm sorry. I know you love this movie, but this movie was totally just disappointing.
Whoa.
It was disappointing.
Explain. Oh, Jesus.
Nah, I'm lying. I'm lying.
Like, oh no.
I wanted Rob to have a quick like heart attack real quick. But no, this movie, and you know what? Time out. 20-second time out. I told Rob, Rob, see, I already said to Rob in the comments in our chat, I'm a man of my word. You know, I'm a man. I admit when I'm wrong. I admit my wrongdoing sometimes. And I made a mistake. Everybody that's listening, everyone that's watching, I made a mistake. I had prematurely just down talked, just talked so much shit about this movie, and I didn't know. I wasn't aware. I'm sorry.
Did the movie go
Ladies,
hard?
ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. This movie,
Wow.
this movie is fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, I will say it does have its problems. And for me personally, it was in the third hour. This movie, number one, is way too long. Way too fucking long.
Ooh.
It's way too fucking long. You could have probably made this a 2.5 hour movie, and it would have probably played out a little bit better. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The first 2 hours of this movie was fucking amazing. Amazing. And then this is a non-spoiler like review, but we've all seen, we all seen from the trailers and from the commercials that there is a car chase with
Yeah, the
with,
penguin and the
with the
dude, right?
penguin. So we all know that. All I'm gonna say is, for me, even though we've seen it multiple times, to me that was probably the best scene of the movie.
Really?
Is that?
And that was actually a question I wanted to ask. It's not really technically a spoiler or whatnot, but even for those in the comments, how did you feel about, like, now that the movie's come to fruition and you've got to see it through and through for those who have seen it? How do you like the Batmobile? Like, does it portray as the other Batmobiles? Is it its own thing?
I
Tell me.
saw the pictures just like everybody else. When the
Yeah.
original poster came out, we got a view of the Batmobile or whatever, and it did not disappoint, dude. The way that it comes in is so badass, bro. You have to witness it. I ask, I beg, I almost implore everybody that's listening, if you're gonna see this movie, if you don't want to hold off and wait the 45 days for it to be, in your house, go watch this fucking movie.
See, it's pretty cool. Like the way you guys are saying it, like, as in the sense of, like, where the director kind of casually makes it feel like the Batmobile itself is like a character that it deserves its own introduction. That's pretty cool. That is pretty. I mean, casually, you remember, like, in the Keaton movies, it would come up out of the ground, or the George Clooney movies, or even the fact of when Jim Carrey pops it with a couple of those, like, bat grenades.
Yeah.
Like, even in those scenes, like, the car has always been its own thing in the movie. So it's good to see that it's still cherished and respected as its own entity in the story.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's something cool to look forward to.
Yeah. So the Batmobile definitely did its job. And just to shout out some of my favorite actors in the movie. Number one for me on the top of the list, even before Mr. Patty Pattinson himself, it's Zoe Kravitz. She knocked it out the park.
I heard a lot of great things about her performance.
She knocked it out the park. And then it would be Mr. Patty Pattinson himself. He did a great job. I did not see him as a Batman, but when they say like a dark noir, this is a fucking dark noir from start to finish. It's basically, and I kind of explained this shit to Rob. This was a murder mystery that just so happened to have Batman and Catwoman and Penguin in it.
That's very, very so this goes off of the next idea. So what movie would you closely consider this to throughout the other 12 Batman films, 13 Batman films, whatnot?
Like, I guess you're asking me, where do I rank it in?
I mean, compare it to, right? Because yeah, because if you look at it, you look at all the different Batman variations that have come out, and all of them kind of hold it out on their own in some type of theme. Where you have Michael Keaton, it's got a lot of that gothic, cartoony vibes. Then you look at the George Clooney and the other guy, Val Kilmer's, where it's very traditional to the old, more Adam West cartoony vibes, but trying to get a little bit edgy. But it didn't, of course.
And you know what? I totally forgot last week we were doing our rankings of Batman, and I totally missed out Adam fucking West.
Oh yeah, that's what I told you. I told you
I
he's one of my favorite Batmans.
I totally he should have been up there, but my apologies. But to your question, you're asking me where do I rank this? I
Well, not
guess
rank.
not
What
rank
would
it,
you
but where
compare it to
what's
theme wise?
but what's all right, what's comparable?
Yeah, because I wouldn't
Um
say it's gonna be like the George Clooney Batman films because it's not
it's
silly. You know,
it's
I would consider it more like the Christian Bale films, like a little bit more
so
of the
yeah,
serious side.
I was gonna say it's a mixture of all of them. If that's a weird way to put it. It's a mixture of all of them. Take like your best or your favorite Batman movie and take like your worst and least favorite and combine them together and with all of them in between. I don't even know if I'm even saying that right, but this is what you're gonna get. Like it's got the elements of everything that you love about Batman. Um, to like the 100th degree, like the fact that he's a straight up detective and you take that journey with him. Like this entire movie, you're with him, seeing what he sees and watching his face as everything registers and him be like 2 steps ahead of the police or 2 steps ahead of whoever else is on the scene. It's honestly a great movie. But you know what? Fuck it. I want to rank it like because I think it deserves it. Like it was that good of a movie. It deserves to have its place in the lineage of on-screen Batmans. And if I were off the top of my head, the Batman with Michael Keaton, that's my number one. I don't think there's gonna ever be a movie with Batman in it that's ever going to change my mind on that. I'm
So
sorry, I
crazy.
don't.
I don't even know why I feel that way, but I feel the same way.
But I was gonna say, and I know exactly why. It's because that's the time that I grew up in. It was literally the first VHS I ever owned in my house. So I just kept watching it. And so it was a birthday. I'll never forget. It was a birthday gift from my uncle for my birthday. And it just so happens that it came out around November. So I had
Okay.
it for my birthday. And so that's gonna be number one for me. Dark Knight is probably number two. And
Okay.
then this one is number three.
Oh, definitely.
This one, I don't care where you want to put it. It's got to be on your top five. I want to say your top three Batman movies of all time. It has to be. Now, where you want to put them, that's up to you.
Now, in the concept of it, I've heard a good amount of people, a good amount of reviewers compare it to more of like the Joker movie.
No, like the standalone with
The standalone with that dude,
no,
Joaquin
no,
Phoenix. That dude, I can't
absolutely
get his
not.
name right.
No,
Why do you?
I did not get a sense of that movie at all.
Well, with anybody in the comments, this goes to you too, Brian. Out of knowing that there's some reviewers that are coming along saying that, why would you feel that that would be the movie that they most closely relate the movie to? Why do you think they
Honestly,
would get that vibe?
I don't even know. Like I think I'm objective enough to see where somebody could get those comparisons,
Mhm.
but I really just don't see it. There's
Really?
nothing about this movie. Like I wasn't there was never a time where I'm sitting here or I'm sitting in a movie theater watching the movie and thinking of that movie. It was literally the furthest thing from it.
Oh
Oh, and
wow.
by the way, have you ever had to like buy one of like the handicap seats because all the other seats were taken? You ever had to do that at a movie theater?
No,
Have you
I've
ever
never
been
had to
that
do that,
guy?
but I know exactly what you're talking about.
So like
Like the
the
rail in the
two
front, the one that's in the
exactly,
middle. Yeah.
and there's usually like two seats.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to get one of those because the movie was sold out. It was sold
Wow,
out,
dude.
and the only ones that were available were the handicap and then like the handicap companion one. And with the handicap companion one, you can just get like jacked for your seat ASAP. So I went. Listen, guys, don't judge me. I had to see this fucking movie. I had to get it out my
Had to
system.
get it done.
Had to get it done. So whatever it takes to get it done, you got to get it done. So judge me if you want. I was sitting in a handicap seat. Me and my boy, you know what I'm saying? He was loud and shit, but yeah, it had a good time. But yes, this movie was amazing. Anybody, again, I would suggest anyone that is going to see this movie at all, see it in a like an IMAX, see it in anything. Mike, the music, again, that's another thing. The music was fucking great. It was great. I thought I was gonna hate the theme, like that theme that comes on whenever you see Batman or whatever, but it actually works, dude.
I don't know anybody that hates that theme. That's a fucking awesome
I
theme.
thought it was, I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought like it was gonna just I was gonna hear it too much and I was gonna hate it. But no, the way that it's played in this movie, amazing, amazing.
So I have to ask then, do you feel that there is a possibility for this movie to be considered for an Oscar nomination for something or whatnot, because I feel like that's what they tried to do with the Joker by trying to isolate it into a more serious film rather than um a comic booky, a Marvel kind of style film that they
Yeah.
isolated in this very serious, very cinematic, almost like a masterpiece. Do you feel like it's almost like you said, like you could have switched out any character and had them be Batman, but it just so happened that they used the characters from the Batman series?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're doing that because they want to get a closer acceptance into a nomination for an Oscar?
I don't honestly, and again, this is just me going off of my feelings walking out of the movie theater after watching it. I don't think that they cared about any awards. Like they didn't give a fuck about any of that shit. Like they had their own vision, and whether or not certain people were gonna be with it, I don't think they cared. Like it's a very interesting movie, and I say interesting in the fact that by the time when I left, I was confused. I was confused because I didn't know how to judge what I just witnessed. I didn't know whether or not it was a good movie because I wanted it to suck or I thought it was gonna suck, or was it just a fucking good movie? And I had to come to a realization that's just a good fucking movie, dude. Like there's really in the first 2 hours, I want to say, there's nothing you could pick apart from that movie. It was flawless the first 2 hours, and then the third hour was a little bit long and it got a little bit too nuanced and all that shit. So yeah.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, I mean, like I said, hopefully this coming weekend I'm gonna be able to check it out. I'll give like a slight review. I'll do like a quick review on it, like during the weekend or whatnot. Drop a little 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to do any spoilers. I mean, unless I can catch up with you during the weekend, and then maybe jump online real quick, throw down a little quick, like, hey guys,
I'm down, dude, because I need to get this shit out of me. I really haven't had anybody to talk to about this movie, and I just want to talk to people about it. Like I want to get people's feelings because
and that's something too. A lot of people are talking about that bucket. Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
popcorn bucket. You got it. Oh man, Brian already got it, boys. Like he beat you guys to it. Also, I wanted to let Apist Bin Sinan. The shirt that I'm wearing is Yu Yu Hakusho, man. Probably one of the coolest animes around back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Spirit gun, man. You're a meshy.
Fucking haven't even taken it out of the bag. Like I don't even know if I should because it's just fucking dope. Like, all right, so
that's really so it's the cowl.
It's like it feels like it. Like it's the fucking mask that's actually like a popcorn bowl. But like I want to take it out of the wrapper to show you guys, but I think I'll just leave it in it.
You gonna try to collect it or what?
Yeah, I was use it as a fucking collectible. It's fucking dope. It's fucking dope.
So,
and so
like,
yes,
is the mouth part, is it open too or what?
Yeah, so the mouth part is, I don't even, so you guys can't see it.
It's a little bit fluffy, but it's cool.
It looks like fucking the Riddler and shit with his whatever. But yeah, it's got like a little like mouth thing that you could just put popcorn in. It's pretty dope.
That is pretty badass. And you didn't have to pay anything extra for it? They gave it to you?
No, you had to pay for that shit.
Oh shit.
You had to pay for that shit.
But totally worth it. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did the same thing for Ghostbusters with the car, right?
Yeah.
They had a Ghostbuster one. That was pretty cool too, man. I think that's really, really interesting. What about this thing that I keep hearing that they're raising the prices of tickets at the theater?
I don't know. I got in for like the regular price. I mean,
I heard that there were some theaters, I don't know where I saw it at, but there were some theaters raising the price. But I think it's because of the fact that with the whole situation that's going on in Russia and Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken, AMC and a lot of theaters have pulled the idea of them releasing Batman in Russia, which I'm like, hey, bro, like, I mean, they're at war. Who the fuck is going to be like, well,
I was going to say, like, they have bigger.
I got to get to the movie, man.
And you know what?
The movies real quick.
And you know what I just learned today? I actually work with a coworker that's from Siberia, and she has a lot of family members in Russia. Oof. And she told me today that they have their Facebook is banned. If you live in Russia, you don't have access.
You have literally no internet.
There's no internet. There's no Facebook. If you speak about the war at all, it's like a mandatory 5 years.
Damn,
5 years in Russia.
Shit,
you say anything negative or you speak up, you go to a protest about the war or something like that, you're getting 5 years mandatory. Can you imagine?
Talked about it. Yeah, no. I mean,
can you imagine 5 years in a Russian jail?
Yeah.
Get
the
the
gulag,
fuck
man.
out of here. Yeah, it's the
The fucking
gulag, bro. Hell yeah,
man.
for real.
Yeah, but
The
you get no
fucking
life spared,
gulag.
man. For
But yeah.
what it's worth, the United States has placed sanctions that are apparently slowly working, but it's isolated Russia into a really bad position. There's a lot of talks now about nuclear capabilities for the country, which of course that was always an option for those people. But I want to assume that Putin's not that dumb of a dumbass to want to go in that direction. But a cornered dog is different. You know, when you
That's the
corner a
one
dog
thing.
off,
That's
and that's
that's the one thing that people have to understand. He feels that his back is against the wall, and
yeah.
he's
If
explained that. He's
yeah,
expressed that.
with the sanctions and stuff like that, and them removing the ruple or whatever they use over there for
Whatever the fuck it
the
is. Yeah.
economy. You know, they've dropped the money down for that, or the financial stance for it, and other stuff too. Russia seems to be a little bit backed up, and we'll have to see what happens, man. Hopefully, they're able to come to some kind of
A
late,
resolution.
late peaceful deterrent or something, and hopefully it
Peace
doesn't
is
go
the
that
way.
bad. I know that.
You see Jimmy on my shirt, man.
J-
Peace is the key, man.
yeah,
Peace is the way, man.
I think last night they talked about they took a nuclear not a base, but a nuclear power plant.
Oh yeah, no, they took over. Yeah,
Yeah.
they took it over. Yeah.
That might be optionally considered a war crime, which I don't know if anybody's going to act on it because it's dicey with China, China's involvement. But we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, like we said, it's a more peaceful resolution coming up.
But back onto more
onto
positive
regular
things.
talks. Yeah.
Back on the Batman. All right. Enough about Russia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go Ukraine. But yeah. So the Batman, so on a scale of Boba Fett to 10, I'm gonna give this a 9.4. A 9.4.
I mean, you might make me sound like an asshole if I go watch it and don't like it.
No, I mean it's gonna honestly, and I think I said this. I can understand. Honestly, I'm lying. I will not understand anyone that does not like this movie. I just won't understand it.
Now, I'm gonna vouch out there that I wasn't a big fan of the Joker film.
You don't say.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. It was good.
You say it every chance you get, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good film, but the idea of them necessarily taking a character and coattail riding him and creating this weird backstory that doesn't make a lot of sense, like, I wasn't a big fan. I feel like without it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see how the Joker wouldn't be for some people. Personally, I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was probably the best DC movie in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that you not liking this, you really have to start evaluating just on the scale of haterism that you list yourself, like whether or not you should bump yourself up, because you have to be just a flat out stone cold hater if you do not like this movie.
That haterade.
I'm sorry. Listen, I am a troll by nature. Like, it's in my blood to troll people, and I cannot troll this movie, dude. I can't hate on it. There's nothing about it that I don't like, besides the fact that it's just too fucking long.
Did this movie kind of go through the different tropes or break them down? Like when it comes to this is Bruce Wayne, this is his parents and how they died.
So and I think that's another reason why I like the movie. It's because, and without any spoilers, they do it in a way that gets you engaged. Again, so don't underestimate the fact that this is a crime thriller. This is again, I don't want you might lose that thinking like this is a Batman movie, but it plays like a crime thriller. Like, you're engaged and you have these certain key pieces of the information that deals with all of the avenues that lead to Batman that keep you interested, because it's focused, it's very aware of what this movie is. Like, I think I'm saying it right. You get the sense that they're aware of what this is. Other DC movies, you're kind of questioning, what the fuck am I watching? What is this? You know what I'm saying? But you have no problems with this movie. You know that the people that made this movie, they know exactly what this is at its core, dude. And they executed it magnificently. Yeah, so I saw a lot of the Seven references. So yeah, it's like a you could think of a Seven movie, but you take out like Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, whoever the fuck was in it, and you put Batman and Catwoman and Penguin in it.
And you know what's really crazy? Because I think we've talked about that on the show before, where we said that they kind of need to go back to the roots of what makes the character important in the DC landscape.
Yeah.
You know, creating this story where Batman isn't a dumb shit who just punches stuff.
Yeah.
Where he actually, you know, intrigues the audience into showing that he is the greatest detective in that universe.
Yeah.
And I think for a very, very, very fucking long time, they've kind of missed the pin top on that.
Yeah.
I think the last time that we got anything close to that would have been the bullet shrapnel scene in Christian Bale's Batman. I think it was the second one.
Yeah.
When like a bullet hits like I don't know, like a brick.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes through like $1 million worth of all these different experiments just to be like, yep, that's a bullet or whatever the fuck he followed. But like, I don't know, it's like a stupid solve, but you know, he does a bunch of cool shit that makes him look like he has all of this. But then again, there's a difference in that too. Does this Batman take that situation and show us that he's hyper intelligent, that he could solve shit because he's a problem solver? Or is it because of the fact that he's rich that he can solve shit?
It's a combination of it all, dude. This is what I'm trying to make you understand. It's a combination of all of it. Like he is. You never have a question who's the smartest person in the room when you see him.
Okay.
You know he's the smartest person in the room, without a doubt. He sees things that people just don't see. He is just alert to everything that's going on around him. He's literally the smartest person in any room that he's in. And they make sure that you understood that. You're not gonna think that there was a person smarter than him, even the person that's supposed to be smarter than him. You know what I'm saying? But they still humanize him. They don't make him a robot. And you know what? I could be talking about this movie for days. Like they make him human. He makes human errors, and you know, even in the fight sequences, he has a very human, you know, element to the way that he fights, and it's very dude, you gotta watch it, man. He means it. Like every punch that he throws, he means that shit. Everything's calculated. It's great, man. The fight sequences, the fight choreography, fantastic. You mix it in a little bit of humor. You got Colin Farrell that did an amazing job as Penguin.
Nice.
It's really good, man. It's a really good movie. It's really. I still won't listen. I'm simping for this movie, but it's still not my favorite. I still got to throw a little bit of shade here.
You know,
it's
still not
my favorite Batman.
I really have to ask.
There's up there, dude.
There's a lot of people talking it up, which is super, super cool. I'm really excited. There's some really cool elements that people have said out loud, not in the sense of spoiling things for the film for me or anything like that, which is great. I appreciate it. But you know, a lot of important things. Of course, you know, him being more of a detective, the comic book elements that they're following, you know, the performance, how he's portrayed and how he's done his business in the movie. You know, I'm really excited to see that kind of stuff. You know, with all the stuff that's been going on with like the political correctness and things like that, were there any forced elements that you felt were out in the open or unnecessary?
Forced? No. There are some elements. There are some elements in here that
but they done classy?
Fantastically.
Okay. So it doesn't feel like it's like
very subtle, not a big deal. Wasn't a point of emphasis in the movie. It was just there you know, there's one or two things in here that, you know, you'd be like, oh, I love how they did that.
Okay.
They don't even give you any backstory. They don't give you any explanation. It just is what it is. And they keep it moving. I told you this movie and the people that made it, I wish I had the list of the credits in front of me, but I don't. They took their time with this. And you can tell that when they wanted to execute this, everybody was on board. Everybody had the same vision. Everybody knew what this movie was. And yeah, and so did the actors. The actors knew what this movie was and who these characters were that they were playing. I think it was Mike or somebody. Yeah, Alfred. Alfred's dope in this. Like Alfred gets his props in this. Like everyone did an amazing job. Everyone did a great job.
So I've heard a lot of your pros, but I haven't really heard a lot of your cons.
Okay, I
I need to
can.
hear, I really need, and the reason why I need to hear the cons is because of the fact that I need to be able to like know the balance between this film. I need to know
Okay,
where people are seeing it and saying like, okay, this was cool, this was bad. Like the 3 hour one, I get it.
yeah,
Zack Snyder pushed the envelope with that one with 4 hours, and I mean, I'm surprised I made it through that. But 3 hours is a pretty long time. I
yeah,
would have seen this movie before the podcast, but there was no way I was going to make it
because of the time.
because of
So
the time.
I think that is my biggest con. Again,
Okay.
I probably said it like 3 or 4 times already. That's my biggest con is that this movie is long and you feel it. Like once you get into like that 2 hour, 2.5 hour time, you start to feel it. And there's not enough going on. It's a lot of dialogue that, it you feel it. You know what I'm saying? You
Okay.
wear that last hour. Um, but other than that, to be honest with you, if you're not a fan of like dark noir, uh, emo shit, this ain't you could possibly have an issue with this movie. But I mean, even if, and this is what I'm saying, like I would have a hard time understanding anyone that hates it because there's so many elements that if you're not a fan of this over here, or if you're not a fan of this music over here, or if you're not a fan of something over here, well, we have this over here for you. And if you're not here for any of that, well, then don't forget it's a crime mystery. So we're focusing on that as well. And
Okay.
we're gonna give you a hell of a fucking crime story. Even if you don't like, the characters in it, you have no idea who the fuck Batman or Catwoman or Penguin or anybody is. We have just a great fucking thriller for you to enjoy. And it was dope. It was very, very well executed. I want
Okay.
to say.
Very, very cool. Very cool. And then part of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Do you see this variation or this form of Batman being the Batman that they continue on into the Justice League films and whatnot with the Flash universe coming up? Do you feel there's a possibility? Um, do you feel like there is some type of connection that they're going to do or going forward since Ben Affleck has more than likely, fallen out of the entire franchise,
Yeah.
that Robert Patterson has, stepped up into the spotlight and has done a very good job and is able to do, if not if the same, if not what better than Ben Affleck did.
Um. Honestly, I don't think that was their original plan. But I think after the word gets out, and depending on how much money they make, I honestly think that word of mouth is going to push this movie further than what it was going to. Um, I don't see how either one of them, because the Joker was a $1 billion movie, and I think this has the ability to be a $1 billion movie as well. So I don't see how, even no matter what your original plan was, I don't see how you can't try to incorporate this into what they have going on over there, to that big glob of mess they got going on over there at Warner Brothers. Um, Personally, if I was on the executive board or have an executive position there, I would be pleading everyone to get Patty Pattinson into the DCEU immediately.
So, from what Collider said 10 hours ago, the Batman opens with an impressive $21.6 million at Thursday's night box office.
Yeah,
So, and it's estimated to head to 100 million. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's doing fairly well. Is it doing Spider-Man well? No.
I mean, that's kind of hard to do. You kind of had the cheat code with Spider-Man. Like, I listen, and I think I've already said it. We've given Spider-Man praise, but it was the cheat code. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, that movie was designed to make $1 billion fucking dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was designed for that. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure that this movie was designed for that though. I don't think they were worried about the Oscars. I don't think they were worried about making $1 billion. If they do it, cool. They probably saw it and so we probably have something over here. But I don't think initially that's what was their goal. Just I don't get that feeling.
Do you feel like they were trying to take it back to the Christian Bale vibes?
I think they were trying to surpass that. I think they were
I
trying
mean,
to I think they were trying to draw from it because you do get a sense of that here. again, you get a sense of all of it.
Yeah,
Personally,
because what I'm talking about, like, take it back, is because of the fact that the Ben Affleck Batman kind of like brought it into a whole like almost like the animated series. It had a very more comic book friendly, more family friendly vibe to Batman. Where of course in the videos and the commercials and the trailers and things like that, this Batman does look a lot more. Of course, the Dark Knight, like the dark, the rated R type. This
yeah.
goes back to a comment that I heard earlier from Robert, I believe, in the comments, where he said there's a lot of people that are upset. There's a lot of parents that are mad because they took their child to go see this movie, thinking that it was going to be a Justice League style slash, happy-go-lucky Batman, and it ended up being a fucking slobber knocker of a Batman movie.
Your kids will be okay. I thought Pulp Fiction was gonna be a good movie to go to as a child, and I went to go
That was a
see it.
fucking horrible movie to see as a kid. What are you talking about?
I'm okay. Your child's gonna be okay going to go see the Batman. It's okay. It'll be okay.
Okay. Very, very cool. So again, guys in the comments, ladies in the comments, whoever's out there, give us a rating. What do you guys think? What were your pros? What were your cons? Of course, don't give any spoilers. Don't be that guy or girl.
Or girl.
If you can, try to get someone to go watch it and whatnot. Give them the heads up. Are there any post-credit scenes that people need to look at? Are there any cool Easter eggs that don't spoil anything about the film?
There is a good Easter egg. I don't want to say Easter egg, but there is a cool scene in a jail. That's all I say. So there is a cool scene in a jail that, it's honestly, I wasn't a fan of it. I thought it was cheap and I thought it was dumb. Personally, I didn't want to get into it because that is one of my cons, was that scene. But other than that, no, there are no post-credit scenes. Once the movie is over, you can
walk out comfortably.
You can walk out, and there's no post-credit scene.
Well, thank God it's 3 hours long. I don't want to stay an extra fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
So I heard that there is something at the end though, but it's like a riddle. Is there anything particular to that situation? I mean, we all know that the Riddler's a villain.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't see it. Maybe I left too early. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I didn't think I heard that there wasn't a post-credit scene. But if there was, and I fucking missed it, I didn't fucking see it.
I don't think it was a post-credit scene. I think it was just like
at the
from
end.
what I've seen, like a little, like it's like the question mark and it's something. I mean, it goes to a website. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
What about the web? What about that website, Robert? Can you put it in the comments? Let us know. The riddle is there.
Oh, so it's a website. You go there, and then that's where the riddle. Yeah, I missed it. I missed it. I was there I was sitting there for 3 fucking hours. I'm not going on a website.
So, speaking about that, tell me a little bit about the Riddler, man. Overall, the villain, how he portrays himself, how they portray the character. I've had a lot of people tell me that in reference to it, it's very much like the Zodiac killer.
Yeah. No, that is heavily inspired. So if you're me personally, I don't want to say I'm a fan of the Zodiac killer, but I have done deep dives into the Zodiac killer and just watched every documentary that was available about him. And it's a very interesting case. And they drew heavy from that particular figure and correlated that to the Joker. The Joker is a good villain for this movie.
Really?
He's a good villain. Towards the end, he was kind of looking a little funny in the light type of shit, but other than that, like, he was good for the majority. He didn't annoy me. He didn't annoy me. He was a good opponent for this Batman.
The Riddler.
Yeah,
the Riddler. Very cool. The actor that portrayed the Riddler.
Yeah.
He used to be like a teeny bopper film kid. He used
Was
to come
he?
out. Yeah, he used to come out like in a lot of like the 90s funny comedy films.
Okay.
Like he was always playing like the nerdy dude. He had.
I know him. Like I've seen him from other movies, but I don't remember him from like back in the day.
He's always like the in those nerdy films that hooks up with like the fat chick, and everybody's like super excited for him because he's a virgin or something.
Oh, okay.
He's always playing like those kind of roles.
I got you. Okay.
So he used to come out in films like that. Now comparing that beginning of like a comedy lifestyle to this, how would you kind of like?
I mean, congratulations, because this is a fucking step up. Like this is he definitely was able to show his range. I'll put it that way. He was able to show his range. He was able to again, I think this was another person, another actor that fully grasped the character that they were portraying. Like he got it. And it was apparent on screen. He understood the assignment and he nailed it. He nailed it. Again, Zoe Kravitz nailed it. And good old Patty Pattinson. I couldn't see how he would be able to portray a Batman that would interest me, but he pulled it off. He pulled it off.
This guy, he came out in The Girl Next Door.
Oh, The Girl Next Door. He was the
yeah.
one that ended up being the porn star. I remember.
Yeah, there you go. He also came
I
out
love
in
that movie, by
Swiss
the way.
Army Men, Looper, Cowboys and Aliens. What else? Taking Woodstock. I mean,
Girl Next Door. That's a good movie, yo.
Yeah,
if you guys have never seen that movie, Girl Next Door,
it's funny.
It's a
really
pretty
good.
It's a pretty cool movie, yo.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
And he was in Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, that's right.
Love that movie and that book. It's one of my favorite books.
So wait, are you gonna see it? Like, I don't think you've given us whether or not you're gonna see it yet. Like, are you planning on seeing it anytime soon? Or
yeah. Actually, I was, like I said, I really wanted to try to fit it in before I had the podcast. Me and a couple of my friends were talking about going to go see it a couple of days ago, but life catches up to us and makes us broke. So I didn't really have the cash. There you go. There you guys go in the comment section. If you guys want to go check it out, open up another tab. rataalada.com, which that sounds a little weird. There you go, my boy John. As a matter of fact, John Castillo, one of my best friends throughout all my life, like I said before, I love the guy. He is probably one of the biggest Batman fans ever. So I knew for sure he was going to watch it, and I knew he's going to love this movie.
So if Mr. Castillo is telling you it's a great movie,
yeah. I mean, of course, I've said it before. I'm going to go see this movie. I need to go see this movie because, of course, everyone's talking about how great it is. And, of course, I'm a big contributor into saying that DC needs a win. I think we can all kind of like, as comic book lovers and wishing that it just gets better and better from here, supporting the films and hoping that they become successful is, our major goal. Yeah. And, getting out there and supporting this movie because it's successful is what we want to do. From what I've heard, even from people that hate all the media and leftists and blah, 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 and this and that, all of them have all come to concise and said, this movie's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do I think I'm going to hate it? No, I don't think I'm going to hate it. Do I like Batman as a character? No, you and I talked about this before too. I haven't met a comic book hero or comic book reader or a comic book lover that's been hyped for Batman in a very, very long time. But I was one of those people that was like, you know what? Robert Pattinson, does an amazing job as an actor. He's done some amazing things. Seeing him come to play this role as a younger, more novice variation of Batman would probably do it justice. And does Robert Pattinson clean up and look like the young playboy that Bruce Wayne should be? Definitely.
But it's weird though. No. See, I think that's another dynamic. See, like, this is why you have to see it. Just for that comment alone is because I thought that as well going into this movie. Okay, I mean, he'll be but the way that Bruce Wayne himself is portrayed in this movie, it's interesting as fuck, bro. Like it's just interesting. Like it's a very unique take on Bruce Wayne in year 2 of him being Batman and the person that he is at this point in his life. Like it's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, it's one of those things too. I mean, for me, growing up reading and talking about Batman and doing a bunch of stuff through the character, I've always believed Bruce Wayne is his secret identity. So like, to hear, to hear someone say that it's more dynamically changed is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to hear that someone's done something, casually different with the character. I don't know, Mike and John and stuff, you've read probably more comic books in Batman than I have, probably more than Brian has too. And you guys have seen the film. How do you guys feel dynamically the character of Bruce Wayne has been changed or altered in this film compared to the dynamic changes that have happened to the character before in the comics? Of course, when he is in Batman form, like when he's either in the Bat Cave or, in his suit completely, I think that's who the real Bruce Wayne is. And when he's out there being the lavishing, Bruce Wayne that everybody wants to see politically charged, that's his mask.
Did I say Patterson? Yo, I've been having a little bit too many cocktails. So listen,
It's all good.
sometimes sometimes Patterson may be Patterson. You just gotta say fuck it. I mean,
sometimes he's just
sometimes your name is Patterson, bro.
Shit, I'm gonna call his ass Potato, man.
Sometimes your name is Patterson, bro. Especially when the Henny's going, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, everybody go check it out. Patty Pattinson did a great job. So did Zoe again. Everyone did a great job. Go see it in theaters. I saw it in like the like IMAX? The Dolby. No, I saw like in like the Dolby fucking
surround sound kind of shit.
Surround sound shit where the fucking shit's rumbling from underneath your ass and shit. Amazing. Very cool. I would suggest you go see it that way because I had shit was crazy. A lot was going on in my chair.
Michael Betancourt put Bruce is a lost figure here, trying to find the identity that the Batman has taken over. His journal entry reflects that. Interesting. I got to keep an eye out for that. I'm probably more than likely going to go see this movie tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm personally, and again, no spoilers or whatever, but Mike, just to, I guess, kind of elaborate on what I was saying is like, just the way that he's viewed to the masses was very interesting to me. Normally, normally in a Batman movie, you get that scene where he shows up somewhere and no one has any idea that you're talking to fucking Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, of course.
Like you get that in most of the Batman iterations, right?
Yeah, like they know of him, they just never seen him.
Yeah. But this one, it's a little bit different. And that's all I'm gonna say. It's just a little bit different how the mass, the people in Gotham City. And another thing that stuck out that's so simple that they did a great job is just letting you know how much of a piece of shit Gotham City is. Like, it's that way in every movie, I guess. But I guess no matter what iteration of Batman you get, you can't escape that.
Oh shit.
You can't escape the fact that Gotham City is just a piece of shit place to live. And there's no saving it. There's no saving it.
Yeah, that's been the dynamic in the comic books, is that it's kind of like his life mission to make Gotham a better place, but you just can't.
You can't.
And I heard a really, really cool comment from someone earlier about a review, a non-spoiler review. And he says, this movie and the musical score of the film makes it feel dynamically like Gotham City is a monster.
Yeah.
Like it's like if a monster,
there's just no hope.
Like no hope. And it's so crazy the way he said it. He said it's almost like Cthulhu lives under it, and it's just like sucking like all your hopes and dreams out, like everything in the characters. So no matter what you do or no matter how you try to prevail, it always goes back to shit.
Yeah.
But the way that Gotham is portrayed, it just feels like any other place. Yeah. But I thought that was a very interesting perspective. I thought it was very cool that they are trying to portray that Gotham City itself is almost as it has its own personification or its own identity, as if it itself is a villain or a mythos character that constantly fights against the dynamic that Batman is supposed to be.
It just adds, I mean, but you get this with any iteration of Gotham City. It just adds to the drama that's going on. It's just like you have this situation that you're going through, but yet Gotham City surrounding it is still fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's still in chaos, and it just gets worse and worse. And it's again, it's noir at heart. Like it's really.
One more question before we end the non-spoiler talks. Of course, we're not going to have a spoiler discussion because I still haven't seen the film. I'll probably go see it tomorrow or tonight. or tomorrow or Sunday. And yeah, and like I said, I told Brian that we'll try to get on here and throw a surprise live review about the film. I'll throw it down with Brian, and then we'll just have that extra content. You know, we'll do like 30 minutes, 40 minutes of just talking. Um, was there any cool references or Easter eggs to any other of the rogue gallery of Batman? Like the
No,
villains and stuff, like any other villains that it kind of like Easter eggs in there.
I can't give that away because then that'll be.
Is it too spoilerish?
It's very spoilerish.
Okay, well that's enough. That I mean that
Yeah.
that explains a bit. It doesn't explain a lot, but it explains a bit.
Yeah.
Earlier in the comments, I thought I saw someone post up that they feel that there's a possibility that maybe if they do a second or even a third trilogy into this film, that there's a big chance that this looks like it might be a pathway or a road to like the Arkham video games. Do you feel like that's a possibility?
Yeah. That, and honestly, again, I can't give any spoilers,
No.
but Arkham had to do with this movie. Like Arkham made its way into this movie.
Oh, wow.
It gave you a lot, yo. It gave you a lot, but again, they had 3 hours to do so. But they gave you a lot, and Arkham snuck its way into this movie. So if that's what they're going, they're laying the seed in this movie. Because
do you feel like this is a? Do you feel like this is that's what's needed in the Batman franchise?
Yeah.
That it's that awesome idea of them going farther into the Arkham series.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's what's necessary for the Batman series?
I mean, honestly, that's the direction they need to go, because it's definitely what they're doing over here is a lot better than what they're doing over there. Is what I'm gonna say. So it's like this, if they're going towards an Arkham series, like an Arkham like storyline with this arc, with this universe, that'll be great. It will be great.
Very, very cool, man. Very cool. So, like I said before, guys, anybody that's out in the comments that's watching this, check it out. Make sure you guys if you haven't seen the film, go check it out. I'll be going to go check it out this weekend. Seems like a very good movie. Everyone pretty much is talking about how it's super amazing. Oh, wow. Bloodhaven is mentioned. That is pretty cool. That's a really cool Easter egg. It's a really fucking cool Easter egg. Give us a scale 1 to 10, how you rate the film. 1 being episode 3 of Boba Fett. 10, of course, being, 10. Give it to me. That way I know what to look forward to. Tell me what I need to look forward to and tell me what I don't. 12 out of 12. Goddamn, that wasn't even on the list, John, but damn, you're hyper excited.
Makes his own score.
But yeah, guys, definitely I'm gonna probably go check this out tomorrow or Sunday. And yeah, this has been our non-spoiler review. I hope you guys dug it. Onwards to the next part of the conversation. Actually, okay, so this isn't, I mean, the rest of the conversations that we have are pretty much going to be on the go kind of movements, nothing too crazy, but there is something pretty cool that dropped this past week, which I found pretty interesting, which was, of course, I feel like every week we talk about Doctor Strange, the 2. I mean, it's probably the most talked about film. Patrick Stewart has finally come out casually and said that he is in the film. A lot of people are talking about Ryan Reynolds now playing the Wolf, casually coming out that he is not in the film, but people are calling him out like he's full of shit, like he is in the film. But yeah, it looks like there's gonna be a lot of fucking people that are gonna be coming out of this film. Another person that we've heard, of course, is Chthon being the major villain. Nightmare's kind of out of the picture. But what's really crazy is Funko Pops has recently released about a 12 set character pop collection that's going to be coming out, and 2 characters that haven't been like really talked about till recently is going to be, I believe one of them is called Sarah,
yeah,
and another one is Sorcerer Supreme or Supreme Sorcerer.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess we kind of already knew with that statue in the trailer that we were going to get Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to remember that a lot of people were talking about it being specifically the one from What If.
Okay.
I mean, they're even believing that the idea of the live action dude that's like all dark and mysterious and dirty looking Doctor Strange is probably the what if Doctor Strange. Being that also Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, is supposed to be coming out in it also. So we can believe that there is going to be some crossovers from the What If series. That's
Yeah.
where a lot of people, of course, are talking about Wanda, the zombie Wanda, and the zombie Doctor Strange, which I don't think the zombie Doctor Strange is going to be that. I think he's going to be, which I think a lot of people have deducted from the trailer, that is going to be the dead uh Defender Strange.
Yeah.
And then he gets possessed by something, by I don't know, it could be the Darkhold, or it could be Nightmare or Chthon, or it could be something. It's possessing him and it's kind of deteriorating his body, and he's going to be like a baddie also. Got it. Or it could be a Chthon possessing someone because he cannot go in between dimensions, which is the whole America Chavez part.
Yeah.
There are some questions though. So the major question that I've been seeing a lot from a lot of different people online is, with the fact that there is now a toy release of Supreme Strange, there is a universe where there is a statue. Can we casually assume that Strange, Sorcerer Strange, or Supreme Strange, or whatever they're calling him, is a dead variation of Doctor Strange, that people are, here is a statue of him because he defended the universe from something grand and died doing it? Or is he still going to be a casual character in the franchise movie?
I don't think it's gonna be that he, like, because of his demise he got a statue. No, I think it's because like he is like ruler of the whole fucking world in that universe. Like I think that's more of like a I don't know, like a monument to him. Like I the Sorcerer Supreme that we're gonna get in this movie, I don't think is gonna be based off of the What If.
Okay.
Strange.
Do you think it'll be more closer connected to the comics?
Well, I guess that's where I'm a little bit confused, because if we do it, let's say from what you're hearing, it's true that he's the Sorcerer Supreme from the What If series. All right, so then what do we know about that Strange? Like, where is he right now, or where we left him off? And he was encapsulated in basically a snow globe with fucking Killmonger.
Yeah.
So are we picking up from there, or is he just gonna, like, I would be confused if that's,
I mean, it's a good question because of the fact also, like, is he gonna be out there with Killmonger with the Infinity Stone somewhere out there too, when he's like, because he has to kind of like encase and keep an eye on that variation of Killmonger, because if not, he's gonna let this dude out and he's pretty much a tyrant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
like,
it's,
the Infinity Stones, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I would just be confused if that was what everyone was leaning towards. But other than that, I really couldn't tell you. I am just Doctor Strange to the fuck out. Like, it's just been every week there's a list of multiple people that are going to be showing up. I don't even know anymore, dude.
Now, you know, but Michael Betancourt brings a really, really great point. The idea of there being a fourth Doctor Strange and it being like the ultimate variation of what he should have been kind of correlates to him being the comic book variation of himself from the 616, because the way that it kind of casually goes is the most purest form these characters would be the comic book 616. Okay. That would be the most purest of these characters. That's where all of these franchise stories and films, that they all come from. No matter how much they pull from, it always comes from those franchises, the 616 storyline. Recently in the comic books, just like Mike stated, the 616 Doctor Strange died. And then the same 616 from like 1987 came back to help him solve his mystery of him dying. So very weird storyline. But then you end up having Clea, which is a character that's been a love interest of Doctor Strange's for a pretty long time. She is now the new Sorceress Supreme. So they have her. She's a user of magic and stuff like that. So that's very interesting that Mike brought that up, because of the fact that the other character that's being brought out, which, I mean, it's cool, is this character named Sarah. Now, what's interesting about this character is there's two Sarahs in the Doctor Strange universe. One of them is a Native American Sarah character who is a love interest or whatnot for Wong. Now, what's cool is I've heard people say that this is really cool because Wong needs more backstory. Oh, he needs this, he needs that. And I get it. I mean, Wong's a pretty funny character. He's grown on me in the last several movies. His attitude, his one-liners and stuff like that are pretty, they hit pretty solid. I would like for him to get a more of a deeper story. Do we need it? Do we need him with a love interest? We didn't need Ned with a love interest. So
how many Sorcerer Supremes are we getting in this movie?
Oh, fuck, dude. That's the question. That's how much money do you want to pay Benedict Cumberbatch?
But not only that, but like variations, like a Wong variant or a Mordo variant.
I really think sorcerers, and that's what's so weird, man.
I think we're getting Sorcerer Supreme Mordo.
Yeah, definitely. He's gonna be probably the one that's in the Illuminati.
Yeah, so it's like we're getting a lot of Sorcerer Supremes in this movie.
But of course, like the film version of Doctor Strange, Benedict Cucumber is going to be the main strongest variation of himself.
Yeah,
because he's he's got plot armor or whatever the fuck it is. Like, Baron Mordo has always been this character that's been the equal to, if not closest variation to Doctor Strange's villains.
Yeah,
but he's always been almost like the Mothman and the comedian and the Watchmen, where like he hates him, but in some weird fucking way, it's like his best friend. Mm-hmm. Like his closest enemy is like, or his worst enemy is his closest friend. That's kind of like the way it's always kind of been with those two characters. So, an iteration of Sorcerer Supreme Baron Mordo would be cool, but it's just going to be cannon fodder. All that shit's going to be cannon fodder. I mean, I think we even talked about this earlier where we were like, do you think Wong's going to get tanked?
Wait, why is it, I guess, why is it just cannon fodder? Like, why?
I mean, the character, there's not a lot of depth into his character in the sense of like the guy that plays him is great.
Yeah.
But the Baron Mordo character has never been anything important in the story. Mm-hmm. Like he's always a dude that's like he would be the most grounded supervillain he's fought. It's like the Mandarin for Iron Man. But out of all the movies or out of all the films you're going to remember, you're not going to remember the Mandarin storyline. You're going to remember when he fought Thanos. You know what I mean? He's always just been that down-to-earth supervillain. So Dormammu is probably going to be the most important villain you're going to remember right now, Doctor Strange. Right now, it's probably going to be Wanda. And then not only to mention that, I was real baffled the fuck out of this past week when I heard that, what's her face? Elizabeth Olsen signed on for like 7 more movies.
I sent that in the chat. I'm like, I hope you guys listen. Anyone that's listening, anyone that's watching, if you think you're sick of Wanda, or if you think you're gonna get enough of Wanda after this movie, nah.
Would it be
you're getting a lot more Wanda coming to you.
Like, I mean, I'm not really sick of Wanda, but what makes me really sad is that there's really not a lot to go off of her character in the comic books because she's so overpowered. They don't know how to write her in.
Yeah.
Like they really just don't know what to do with her.
Do you think, all right, so that's a great point. And I have to ask you a question now. So because you are very close to the source material, sir, do you think that from what you've seen thus far in the MCU, do you think that they will run into that situation where things just get too convoluted and it's just okay?
100%.
Wait. Let's just clarify that. With Wanda specifically, or with just everything in general are you talking about? Because I'm talking about Wanda specifically. Do you think that they're going to drop the ball and not know what to do with her moving forward?
Well, I think they've already dropped the ball with killing Thanos and like wiping him out with the Infinity Stones.
Okay.
Because sooner or later they're just going to bring him back.
Okay.
Like you have to, because Thanos is an immortal being in the comic books that can't die because death.
Yeah.
And then you bringing in Deadpool, which they probably at the time didn't think was ever going to happen. Now you can make a dynamic story later on where it's Thanos and Deadpool in a film, like a buddy cop movie, which is probably one of the funniest fucking comic books I've ever read in a long time, which is when they had it. I thought it was probably one of the funniest things I've ever read, meaning they can probably get that in film. Will we? Probably not, but it would be great. It would be fucking great.
I'll pay for it.
The idea of mutants in the Marvel universe, we're about to either see a huge fuck up or something genius when they introduce it.
Now, why do you think that we have the option of a fuck up here?
Because in the comic books, mutants have always just been there.
Okay.
Like that's okay. So we've talked about this before. The dynamic culture of racism talks in comic books or gender swapping in comic books. The characters that are most portrayed in comic books that have been deemed less than human in their culture are the mutants.
Yeah.
They were Stan Lee created them to try to educate people on how to be more accepting, way back in the day, because that was going on during the civil rights movement with African American people in the United States. He wanted people to see how demonizing a culture could be one of the most horrible things when you know that deep down inside these people can be heroes. But he wanted to show that even in this world they still had that, but instead of it being against a race, it was actually against a species, which has been a psychological, like it's almost like a philosophical decision, like conversation, where it's like right now we deal with racism against each other, but if we ever found out that they were aliens, would we delete the racism from the planet and only hate the aliens?
That would still be racist.
I mean, it would still be racism, but you know what I mean? Would we change that idea of racism and hate a species rather than a race?
Yeah.
Would we finally come together in humanity and hate something that's just not us? In other words.
So
that's the concept.
So Mike, yeah, that is I don't even know if that's a fact, but I know that is a thing that Stan Lee I guess kind of wanted to embody comic figures of Malcolm X and MLK. Malcolm X being Magneto, obviously, and MLK playing the Xavier role. That was basically their themes, both of them. So yeah, I do love Stan Lee for that, or whoever came up with that idea. I think that's magnificent. But I don't think pertaining to this movie, or whenever the mutants are introduced, I think that, you know what, again, it's that blind allegiance that I have to Mr. Kevin Feige. I have that like blind allegiance. Like I just think that he's gonna figure it out. And I think if it's something that he cares a lot about,
of course,
it'll succeed.
I
like
mean,
you can tell the movies that he doesn't really fuck with, or like the things that he doesn't really fuck with. Like the Eternals, he just gave Chloe Zhao, hey, go do your fucking thing. Like I'll look at it, I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna be very hands-on. That was like the Eternals was very that was all Chloe Zhao, basically.
Yeah, of course.
That was all her. And so you can tell. And I think that with, you know, the public knowledge of him just being a fanboy of X-Men, and the fact that I personally think that whole Fox deal was to solely get the X-Men.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they had already they were already running out of ideas.
They bought Fox. Listen to what I'm saying. They bought Fox, the whole fucking company, besides Fox Sports.
Oh, Michael Betancourt. Oh man, I wouldn't want that to happen.
It's gonna happen. Or
well, like, I mean,
the reverse, right? Like, the reverse of it, yeah, right. It's gonna happen.
Imagine, and this is just saying, you end up, of course, taking from the comics, right? Which is just them hijacking another situation.
Yeah.
And they're taking and they're co-writing something that has a huge fan base, and they're stealing the name of it.
Okay.
And they're abusing the idea of saying, hey, you know what? I know that you guys, we are at this position of making films and being popular because you guys bought our comic books. You guys brought us into the popularity. You guys helped us become mainstream by buying our merchandise and keeping us in business. Because if it wasn't for the comic book readers and then the people that kind of constantly kept getting orders and reading and stuff like that, Marvel would have been bankrupt a long time ago.
But where's the punch here? Like, what's wrong with that?
Well, again, this goes off of the idea of World War Hulk and Planet Hulk and all this other stuff. All of those. Look at Harry Potter.
Before you answer, I want you to answer this as a business executive.
Go ahead.
Don't answer that question as a fan. We all understand where you stand as a fan. We get it. As a business executive, why would you not do that?
Why would you not do what?
Why would you not take a popular arc?
It's not an arc. He's only taking a point.
Story.
He's only taking the title of an arc.
Okay, regardless.
It's not an arc. It's not an
okay,
arc.
regardless.
It's a whole storyline.
All right. So then take that one part that's popular, that has a fan base like you said, right? Why not try to make the most money out of it? Like, why not? Why would you not understand that? I guess that's what I'm saying. Like,
but you bastardize it by not even making it about the original story.
But that's not bastardizing. That's like, again,
that's totally bastardizing.
Okay. So this is one thing that we talk about all the time, but I don't think you really understand. They don't have the liberties of taking or being so comic book accurate, because then that's gonna have to pay people that.
I mean, I've thought of that before.
No, it's not thinking about it. No, that's why they're doing it. It's not thinking about it. It's like, that's why they're doing it. They can't be as comic book accurate, or they may take a piece here, a piece there, because if they're too comic book accurate, there's a slew of people that they have to pay that they're not trying to pay.
Oh, definitely. That's the exact reason why Mark Ruffalo would complain that Universal Studios doesn't like to make money, because they never wanted to create a movie with him. They never wanted to create a movie with the Hulk story. That's why Kevin Feige was like, hey, well, you know what? Like, throughout these little movies, I'm going to give the Hulk somewhat of an arc for you, Mark. And Mark was like, cool, man. Finally, someone's giving him some type of respect.
Yeah.
And then in the very end of the film, they fucking ruined the Hulk's entire character.
Okay.
Like, I mean, and the reason why is because it's not going off of a franchise story. They just had to say, hey, we just got to make it work. Like, we just got to put you in somehow, because we got to pay you because you're on contract. I mean, I didn't like the Hulk. I didn't like the way they portrayed Dr. Banner. Did anybody? I mean, that's them taking the franchise and flipping it and you know, taking a little part of that storyline and making it better. No one gave a shit about it. But the reason why no one gave a shit about it is because people don't read comics, and they don't know that Dr. Banner's story wasn't very popular. What they do know is that when they click on World War Hulk and they look at Google, that it was one of the most popular franchise Hulk stories ever written and created. Okay. So of course they would want to hijack that. Of course people would want to hijack that, because they're like, fuck yeah, we're getting our story. Fuck yeah, Moon Knight's coming out. It's like,
that was your
fuck is Moon
Knight? That was your whole question, is why? You were saying that you didn't understand why they would do that, and I'm explaining to you what you just explained to me, that you understand.
I know why
they understand why they're doing it. Like, it's just like,
no. I understand why, and the reason why is because Benjamins. Yeah. Fucking money speaks.
Yeah.
You know, Elizabeth Olsen does barely in her whole entire life, probably barely got into Scarlet Witch and the X-Men and all that stuff. And in one of her interviews, she was like, dude, I can't wait for that moment in comic books to say no more mutants.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because that's probably the most important arc ever for the Scarlet Witch throughout all the comic book history.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the arc, and you said that it wasn't the arc.
And when she says no more mutants, dynamically changes the world of the comic book world throughout the multiverse and everything. She wipes out mutants all the way across the board.
Yeah.
So knowing that part of the storyline, imagine, okay, you told me to imagine it as a businessman.
Yeah.
Imagine this as a comic book reader, like a comic book lover. I know you read comics, but a comic book lover and a reader.
Yeah.
Where you're reading this comic book and this chick goes off and says, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to start your universe, your multiverse. No more mutants. The next comic book and the next pages you read, they say, holy shit, Wanda wiped out all the mutants across the multiverse. She didn't wipe them out across, you know, fucking Texas, across the United States, across our world or our galaxy. Wiped across the entire multiverse. There was literally only 175 mutants left. So and that based on those couple of words, no more mutants, those 3 words.
Yeah.
Now you're saying, you know what? I think it's cool that the movies are going to be like let's get mutants or whatever. Like you're cool with them just reversing that and being like, cool, let's take that from that cool storyline and let's use that to go the opposite way.
Yeah, why not?
That sucks fucking balls.
Why?
Then okay, then fine.
You're not explaining to me why it sucks balls. Like you're not explaining to me. You're explaining to me what they're doing. You're not explaining to me why it sucks. Why does it suck?
The reason why is because of what it did to the mutant storyline after, and what it did for the character development of all the entire mutant generation after that.
Okay.
What you're doing right now is you're saying you want to use that just to bring them into a franchise that they were supposed to be a part of in the first place.
Well, shit. Do you want to be? Do you want to be in the war room where there's a bunch of people trying to figure out how to fucking bring in the X-Men when you've had a fucking 10 or 11 year head start and there's no mention? You can't mention. Listen, you can't listen. You were not able to say mutants for 10 years. You weren't able to because you didn't have the rights to the name.
I know they were still in the comics.
No, I'm talking about in the MCU.
Oh, in the universe? I mean,
yeah, in the MCU, you could not say the word mutant because it was owned by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have those. Now you have those properties, and now you can say mutant. Dude, do you understand how hard that's going to be to try to portray, like how to introduce them? Now, this isn't like everyone has been waiting for this one moment. Everyone has been waiting.
Well, they've been waiting for the House of M, not this one moment.
All right,
the actual story of the House of M.
Just the mutants being said, being there, right? Mm-hmm. That's the bigger picture. Just the mutants being there. Can you imagine how difficult that is to try to figure out a way to introduce them into the MCU that's going to appease you as a comic book reader, that's going to appease us as people that read comic books back in the day and have a vague understanding of what's going on? And then not only us, but then the people that know nothing about fucking comics, that don't give a fuck about comics, but we're introduced to the MCU. They have to appease all of us, and they have to introduce the mutants. So if this is how they're going to do it in a way that it's leading into, because I don't think when we get that moment, it's going to be the introduction to the House of M. I don't think it's going to be at the end of it or whatever. It's going to lead us into it. And I think I said that like 2 weeks ago. I think that this movie is going to lead to the House of M. Like it's going to lead there. So that's where we're going to go. And you have to introduce mutants somehow. So if you want to do it this way, I'm all for it, dude.
Well, I don't think it's going to introduce the House of M at the end of this.
Okay.
The reason why is because of what the House of M leads into. But the House of M is the House of Magnus or however you say his name, which is a country dedicated to Magneto, where he's the emperor and the family is living life and they're in charge of everything. Everybody kind of gets their own wish because of the fact that Wanda gives everybody. Peter Parker gets Gwen Stacy back. They have a child, even though she's dead in the other franchise and in the universe. Scott Summers is married to Emma Frost. Wolverine is part of S.H.I.E.L.D. with dating Mystique.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that happen, and then Wolverine snaps right out of it because his healing factor heals his brain. It heals even when there's mental damage. So if something affects his brain, it automatically leads back to where he was healed once. So after she changes history, Wolverine automatically remembers to jump off the helicarrier, goes for a run, and does not understand why Charles Xavier is missing. And Wanda is missing. Or no, Wanda's not missing. He doesn't understand why Charles Xavier is missing, why nobody remembers who they are and has everything they want, and why Magneto owns his own country and is talking to Black Panther and Storm and Captain America's an old man and he's retired, like completely retired, like chubby.
I have a question.
Eating ice cream, like the dude he's just old.
I have a question, really quick. Let's say you're Kevin Feige. Put yourself in Kevin Feige's shoes, right?
Yeah.
None of what you just laid out, none of that is
an option.
Yeah, none of that's an option.
Incursion. I know what you're gonna ask me because it's set up.
No, incursion is coming. Like that's
how I would bring the mutants in.
Okay.
That by an incursion.
Okay.
There is a comic book that they did, which was when Gamora got the Infinity Stones, which wasn't too long ago. It was like Equilibrium or Quantumirium, or I forgot what it was. But she was like this villain. She kills Thanos. She gets the Infinity Gauntlet. And all she does is instead of the incursion breaking, smashing into each other and destroying planets, she was like, well, fuck it. Instead of wiping out half the planet, I'm just going to combine the planets together.
That wasn't really my question, but I do I do like where you're going because I think that's fucking amazing. I'm serious. I think that's fucking amazing. But no, my question was, so let's say you're Kevin Feige, you have none of this established, none of that you laid out is established in the MCU, so you can't use any of that shit.
Yes, it is.
Wait, okay,
the multiverse.
All right,
established.
But you're gonna have to get that into this movie then, right? Because since you're establishing the multiverse, right? All right. But none of that's laid out. None of that is possibly even an option. So are you not gonna touch the House of M because none of that is an option yet, or none of that is
eventually the timeline will reach to that where there is a conflict.
So it's too soon.
And then the mutants will eventually, that'll be their story arc. Their biggest story arc will eventually be a House of M story.
So you don't mind them using the House of M as long as it's
done properly.
Yeah,
of course. But that's always been my concern.
But what if
I wouldn't want, it's like Thor Ragnarok, and we talked about this before. Thor Ragnarok removes a lot of story and a lot of base for the World War Hulk movie. So now that they want to make a World War Hulk movie, it's kind of scary to say, well, what are they going to use as the precursor when the precursor was Thor Ragnarok? Right? It just makes the way that they laid it out, where it's like, the synopsis for World War Hulk right now is Hulk's son is going to come back and be like, yo, we want you back on Sakaar. It's, it needs your help or whatever. And it's like, so now not only was Hulk the champion of this place, Valkyrie was supposed to be Kira or whatever, which was the wife of him. But now he's like an absentee father. He just was, he's not only was he a shit Hulk in the last movie, but he was like a fucking horrible dad too, or what?
He was a
nobody likes Scar in the goddamn movies, and the Hulk was a piece of shit father in the fucking movies. But it wasn't established that way, that his son comes back and he's like, hey, Dad, we need you to come back. It wasn't made that way. He comes to Earth, causes a bunch of problems, and everyone's like, yo, who the fuck is this? He's wrecking the place. He's like the Hulk, and he's like, I forgot to tell you guys, I fucking had a baby, and he's part gladiator. He's here to start the world, and then he has to beat the shit out of his kid. I mean, they're not all great stories. They're not all great stories, but there are some masterpieces, which that's my biggest concern, is them following the masterpieces, because there's a reason why people love these stories, and they've laid out a really great blueprint. But we have to understand that this is not the 616. This is a multiverse. So the stories can change, but then they will pull from the references, but they have to be close. But taking a story like the House of M and flipping it a complete 180 dynamically changes the stories for the future. Yeah. The thing is the House of M storyline is probably one of if not one of the biggest mutant stories in the last 20 years. Other than this, for the casual comic book reader, what can anybody remember that has been a pretty established X-Men comic book arc other than the Dark Phoenix?
From the X-Men?
Yeah, like the X-Men, like the mutant franchise, what could be, and I know you know one because you're a really big fan of his. I know you're going to mention it, right? That's why I didn't even mention it. But what story arcs can we remember that are based specifically for the mutants that they can make movies for the next 10 years? We have, of course, I just named it the Phoenix Force, Phoenix Saga. Then, of course, yours, Age of Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse. I was gonna say that was the first one that came to my mind was Age of Apocalypse. But okay, all right. But again, we don't have we need context though. Like we don't know what's gonna happen in the next 10 years. Maybe they hit the ground running with the mutants, and we can get an arc in the next 10 years.
But we know that the fans would eventually want, and just like Elizabeth Olsen said, she would want to see it also, a House of M storyline.
Well, that's the reason why I'm saying like this is going to jumpstart into it. Like this isn't like, I don't think we're gonna get it anytime soon, because she just signed for 7
years. Yeah, we know that House of M is coming between that.
Yeah, House of M is coming without a doubt. Anyone that's listening, watching, the House of M is coming. Yeah, so it's like definite. That's a definite. So I think this movie is going to lay the seeds to that. And I honestly, I am blindly following Kevin Feige, he gets it done. He gets it done.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you one more question. Let me ask, because like it's not even a question, it's more of a statement. When I hear you complain about like the MCU movies not being comic book accurate to a certain degree, it's almost like what book readers say when a movie comes out about
that's what I said about Harry Potter earlier. Remember I mentioned
you know what I'm saying? It's like it's it's along the same lines. Like the person that's doing the movie is going to take their liberties. They're going to pull from different things, and you know, I just don't. I guess maybe because that's the way I perceive movies and adaptations and all that stuff. That I don't get too really upset about it. But I mean,
feel like
I get it. I get
it. I know exactly what you're talking about, because that's what I mentioned earlier when I said, you know, you hear it all the time when you hear people say it about Harry Potter, where someone will say, dude, the book, the movies are cool, but you should read the book. It's a lot better."
Yeah.
Because the imagination will take that story and make it, you know, whatever's in your head while you're reading it will, you know, fucking trigger a bunch of shit. The movies, though, in those situations are done in respect to the source material. Like, it doesn't take a lot of liberties to be like, yo, you know, Harry Potter had a scar on his forehead, but he's gonna be a fucking peg leg too, because, you know, he's a pirate also or whatever. Like, they don't take a lot of liberties. They stay as close to the source materials as they can, and then they build off of that and create the imagination with effects or with some type of special effect or some type of how a fight scene goes. It doesn't play out the exact same way, but usually word for word, it's very, very close to as close as it can get. Same thing with the Lord of the Rings situation, the way that Tolkien made his movies and his films. Everything's very, very close to the source material. That's why right now with the Ring of Fire, you're getting so much backlash, because the Amazon company, after they won the Tolkien lawsuit, they're taking a lot of liberties to change a lot of the stuff that he himself asked not to change.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is Marvel over the last, 10, 15, 13 years or whatever they've been making movies, they're taking a lot of liberties, and it's okay because they haven't done wrong with them yet. I mean, Ant-Man sucks. Yeah, Thor, the Dark World and Thor 1 suck. Yeah, they fucked up Captain Marvel in some people's opinions, but the origin story, because I know you like it and I respect that. Because if anything, how can I shit on a movie that got someone who hadn't been interested in that character before to be interested now?
Yeah.
That encouraged you so much to be like, yo, I want to know more. If anything, that's what any franchise would want from its readers and watchers.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm talking about, the only thing that makes me sad and upset as a comic book reader is there was a time where Marvel was in complete demise and was going to fail.
Yeah,
and
they were,
of course, now
fast tracking the failing, by the way.
Yeah, really bad. And they were going through heavy lawsuits. They were selling as much as they can. We talked about it, and we talk about Blade almost every other week. Saved the Marvel universe as an independent, fucking character that no one knew about. But Wesley Snipes, goddamn, he was the Billy Blanks of that time. He carried that fucking movie, and he made for years, no one even remembered Blade was a Marvel character or a franchise. They were just like, fuck, dude, Blade's badass.
Yeah.
And all the way through, if it wasn't for Blade Trinity, nobody would have got Ryan Reynolds to be Deadpool or Wade Wilson, because he was discovered in that film and was told he needs to be Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like, during that time, comic books, film and book wise, were such in horrible shape that they were out the door. They were out the door. If it wasn't for the people who were in love with them at that time to people who fell in love with them during the Blade return and keeping it going, comic books would have never been film. They would have never been anything like that. And now that the franchises, someone took a chance. Someone took a fucking chance. And they were like, yo, let's get Robert Downey Jr. We asked Tom Cruise and he didn't want it. Let's ask Robert Downey Jr. because that man needs a chance. I love him and I want to give him an extra chance at life. And let's make a movie about a dude who makes a metal costume, and let's call it Iron. Let's make an Iron Man movie.
Well, goddamn, he knocked that out the park.
And man, and
Home
it was
run.
crazy, and people do not realize that that movie was such an important movie, so great, so breathtaking, so masterful, and it followed the fucking comic books almost to a T, minus the facts that they didn't talk about his alcoholism because it was a Disney film, but they almost followed it to a T. The only liberty they didn't take was the alcohol. That's the only thing they did. They didn't even have it on a streaming service. Part 2 was available. They would never show part 1 because it was such a masterpiece. They were like, nah, you want it, you buy it. It's only in DVD. We're not putting it on Disney. We're not putting it. It was so hard to find for years, dude. I could find Iron Man 2. Fucking Iron Man 3 was straight to Laserdisc. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Captain America, the first Avenger, was on those streaming services, but Iron Man 1, it wasn't. The reason why is because it was by far one of the greatest Marvel films ever made, and it was one of the most comic book accurate to the character himself. Same thing with Captain America, the first Avenger. Mostly all of those first movies were all comic book accurate, and they were all successes, and they all saved and started this franchise. All the way to the Avengers film. All the way to the first Avengers film, they were all comic book pretty accurate. Yeah, a little bit here and there, but nothing too crazy. I always tell people all the time, during that time, even though Thor sucked, it was still good. Because at that time,
the original,
the first one. Yeah. We had never had a film like that.
Yeah.
We had never had a film of Thor or anything. So during that time, it was awesome. Yeah, when other films came out and they shit on it, fucking Ragnarok came out and smashed out of the park, and I fucking wanted to just erase the first 2 movies off my mind and say, we should have started with this cool shit. Should have started with this type mentality. It was the same thing as the Spider-Man films. When the first Spider-Mans came out, we thought they were amazing. And then when the later Spider-Mans came out, we thought they sucked. And now that the new Spider-Man's out, we thought the other 2 were sucking. But mine, I like Andrew Garfield's. He was the most to Humberto Ramos's Spider-Man. He was one of my favorite Spider-Man artists. Yeah. But the thing is that blueprint being there makes the comic book films feel so much better because they're so much more closer to the material. Yeah, I understand that sooner or later it's going to get to this part where the films have to get bigger. There are things they cannot use and there's things they can, and you cannot have it source material accurate, right? Like, so you talk about Thanos, right? At the ending of Infinity War, knowing the comic book reader, knowing one, that the female goddess Death is sitting right there. Thanos is trying to impress her because that's what the literal story's about. Yeah. The X-Men are there. Fucking the Guardians of the Galaxy are there. Fucking Silver Surfer's there, standing right next to fucking Adam Warlock. And none of those dudes were there. You know what I mean? None of them were there, but we got it. And that take on the Infinity story, it was pretty fucking cool.
So what you're basically telling me is that let me just make sure I got this correct. All of those original first offs, like the original Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, those are all comic book accurate to a T, kind of, almost,
kind
right?
of. Yeah,
right?
Kind of. I mean, with some.
Those are the worst fucking movies in the MCU. So what are we talking about?
Wait, what are you comparing them to?
I'm comparing them to a Thor Ragnarok, which you thought was where they were taking liberties from Planet Hulk. I would rather watch that movie than any of the other Thors. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Captain America, the First Avenger. That movie was boring to me. So all those comic book accurate movies were fucking boring, dude.
Well, yeah, but when they first came out, you thought they were amazing, like all of them.
No, I did not.
The evolution of the film is what made it better.
The
reason why Thor Ragnarok was good is because it literally stole the storyline from Planet Hulk.
Thor 1 was not a good movie to me. It's still not a good movie to me.
I mean, introduction wise, it's all right, but
Captain America, the First Avenger,
I like that one.
Dude, it was cool. It wasn't pushing the needle for me. Iron Man, I mean, it wasn't pushing the needle for me either. Like, it took honestly, it took until maybe the first Avengers for me to start to get like in tune with the MCU. Okay. Other than that, like, those first movies were kind of trash, dude. Like, if you look at a list where those movies, those first original ones that were comic book accurate, where they rank, they're all at the bottom because they were boring as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, but you got to remember that that was before the blueprint was created. Because if you look at all the films right now that they've done, it follows a specific blueprint of what Marvel does with comics or with films. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that itself for the comic book watcher or the movie watcher or the movie critic can be pretty boring because it never changes dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, it's just always.
I'm just giving pushbacks. I like to argue and shit like that, but
no, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But the thing is the evolution of film is what makes film better. During that time, you had minor amount of Disney money, and you had minor amounts of the CG and all the other stuff that they were able to use and tap into with Disney because Disney was still testing the waters. It wasn't until about phase 2, phase 3 that Disney was like, slap some money, hit them in the face with a big wad of cash, make it rain. And then boom, you get Guardians 1. Guardians 1 really was like, for me, the dynamic change in filmmaking when it came to the Marvel Universe. I think when Guardians 1, I thought that was probably that time one of the best movies ever, if not the best movie. And it wasn't
Guardians
even,
1 was dope. Yeah.
And it was not even the film that did it, it was the music. And then all of the films after that,
yeah.
I thought it was the music. I think the film color-wise was amazing. The color schemes and the bright yellows and the neon colors and all that stuff in space. You can't beat that shit. That was super retro. Super retro-y vibes. Very comic booky, very video game-ish. But the music is what sold it for me. And then from there, the dynamic in films using more music rights as like the films, like for the musical scores.
Yeah.
Like using heavy music from like actual creators. Like I think Guardians of the Galaxy is the thing that knocked out of the park. And that was another jump in film evolution. And then you had Infinity War and then Endgame, which brought in 60 fucking actors in one film on fucking film. Now you have every movie out there having a roster of 30 or 40 smashing actors, you know, getting it done right. It's just the evolution of film. You can't dynamically be like, yo, Captain America 1 compared to Infinity War. Like, nah, man, not even. Well, yeah, of course. It's not going to be. But during that time, it was amazing. The problem, going back to the idea is, if you take something like the way Michael said it earlier in the comment section, he said, what if you end up making Wanda the mother of mutants? Right? But then later on, it's going to be this thing where she does the House of M, which is the exact same dynamic she's going to do to introduce them. Story-wise, it's almost like you're just doing a repeat of something you've already done. Usually, it would be a cause and effect. You would bring them in with an incursion because you think you're saving a bunch of people, and then you find out they're fucking your whole life up, and then you use your power to delete them. You know what I mean? At first, you save them by saving them as a whole without dynamically using your powers directly at them. You know what I mean? Later, you use your power to be the villain against them. Right now, it's very rough because you're making Wanda a huge villain already. How are you going to carry this character trying to walk? That's the biggest thing story-wise I'm very interested to see, is how they're going to walk that line between telling you that Wanda, yes, is evil, but she's got a good heart. They kind of got away with it at the end of fucking WandaVision. But it was very far-fetched with Monica Rambeau coming in and being like, yo, I would have brought my mom back.
Yeah.
And her being like, yeah, me too, or whatever. Like, well, I'll see you later. The cops are coming. And Monica being like, bet, cool, I'll see you later. You know, you're real cool or whatever. And the rest of the people were like, bye, fucking person that kidnapped us for months and shit. Like, it was, I don't know. It was very weird. I didn't know how to feel at the end about Wanda in the first place. And I think that was dynamically made that way.
I do think so as well. Yeah. I do think so as well.
But that's the problem with her character in the comic books, is that's exactly how they write her in all the comics. And that's why they don't know what to do with her. My biggest concern for the Marvel universe in the next 10 years is the comic books are the movies going to reach the trash that the comics have become? or are they going to fix the mistake that the comic books have created?
I think the answer
really
to
hope.
that is based on however long Kevin Feige resigns a contract for.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. You're gonna get Filoni to come in at the end.
I mean, oh, damn, no. I mean, I want Filoni to stay in Star Wars and never leave. Just focus on Star Wars and just call it a day. But yeah, if Kevin Feige's contract expires and he doesn't renew, the MCU may be in some trouble. But as long as he is in control over there, I don't have any problems. I don't have any worries. The dude has direct access to what were the brothers that made fucking Endgame and fucking
the Russos.
The Russos, right? He has direct access to the Russos. We need them for fucking Secret Wars.
Yo, I have a question for you and
So
Mike
we need
and all the guys out there too.
What's up?
How do you think Thanos knew Iron Man? How do you think he knew Tony Stark?
He just said that, he does. We don't know. Or
well,
how do you think?
I gotta ask. I really have to ask if anybody's got this idea because I have a fucking theory.
I honestly, it's a weird question. It's not a weird question. It was a weird thing to happen in a movie, but it was at such the height of everything. I didn't even question it. I just wrote with it.
I mean, I question everything, man. Well, in the comic book, because that's what we do. Like when we get weird Easter eggs and shit.
Okay.
But
he kind of said it. He was just like, "Yo, word travels. Like, you think you're the only person that knows people?" Like,
no, he says,
what does he say?
You're not the only person that's what is it?
Knowledgeable or something like that. Like
cursed with knowledge.
Yeah, like I like the way that he said it, the way that he delivered it. It didn't even cause for me to even think about it.
Well, I think that's a nod to an Iron Lad quote. Because Iron Lad is a Tony Stark variant who ends up being Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
So an Iron Lad goes throughout history, and there is a huge possibility that Kang went back in time and met Thanos and met Apocalypse. He does meet Apocalypse because Kang is the guy that encourages to become Rabum Allah, or not Rabum Allah, but with his character in the Mummy era.
Yeah.
He runs all his shit off of him. And that's a character of Kang also. That's a variant of Kang that's in that part. But I think it's a really big nod to Iron Lad. And I think Iron Lad would have gone through history, and if he would have ran into a young Thanos in the Eternals, or a young Thanos who was, dealing on Titan and all this other stuff, and he met a young Kang, he would have been like, "Yo, who are you?" And he's like, "Well, people call me Antonio Stark or Tony Stark or whatnot. But I go by Kang." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then by that time, throughout history, he does meet Kang. He gets knowledge from him. He's able to create his ship and his army and things like that. Thanos becomes a Mad Titan throughout history, comes up to time, finally up to front and someone. And he's like, "You'll never forget who I am, Tony Stark," or whatever. And he's like, "Stark, you're not the only person cursed with knowledge." And he does that because he remembers running into a Stark, a younger variation of himself way back in history.
You know what makes me sad? Is that you will never have the same reactions to these movies as I do.
Yeah.
That's sad, yo.
No, it's not bad at all, man, because I go in there with a kid mentality, and I go in there with not a lot of comic book expectations. Desires, yes. Expectations, no.
Okay.
Because through and through, I'm still very surprised at what they're able to pull off.
Cool.
Because knowing that I'm going in there and saying, "Man, I don't think they're going to do Civil War right," and then boom, we get Civil War with T'Challa and Spider-Man and a really fucking.
But how disappointed were you? If any of the titles I can understand people having a gripe with, it's fucking Civil War and Infinity War. Like Civil War and Infinity War, the two where I am never going to argue with comic book readers in their disappointment. I wouldn't even do that to myself.
Civil War, comic book wise, was a huge dynamic in the comic book era. It was a really, really beautiful story.
Yeah.
What they did in the film, being again that they only had certain resources that they could use. Yeah, it was very small down.
So then what? So then, like, what's the answer here? Like, do you not use it because you don't have access, or do you still like? That's where the
You take
conundrum
it.
is. Like,
Yeah,
you
you
got
take it.
you
You
gotta
go
you
what you
gotta
can
go.
right now.
Yeah, like you have to.
Well, I mean,
Even though if 10 years later you might have access to all of the people that are
well, it's
involved
because
in
20 years
Civil
from
War.
now they're just going to do a remake. I
Okay.
mean, that's just what it's going to be. When we're old and all these actors are all old, sooner or later someone's going to be like, "Yo, we're going back. We're doing Captain America again."
Yeah.
And we're doing Captain America, the first Avenger.
The first Avenger.
Yeah, the reduce or
The,
whatever.
the redo first Avenger.
They're just gonna remake them, and they're just gonna make them better because the technology is gonna change and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's a given. That's a given that'll eventually happen. And then when the franchises all come together, they'll redo something better. Who knows? Then again, it's like, would I want them to do Infinity War from the comic books accurate? Fuck no. I think it's stupid as fuck. Thanos wiping out half of the universe was a big thing in these films. In the comic books, he just snaps his finger. He's like, "Goon, there you go, girl. Where's my date?" Like literally, it's like that. Like it's nothing in the comic books. Like, yeah, there's dynamic situations where you see someone disappear in front of Captain America and he freaks the fuck out. People disappear in front of T'Challa, he freaks out. But literally, like fucking Thanos is like Death's like secretary, like just a dude that's there is like, "Thanos, don't talk to Mistress Death. She has no feelings for you. She doesn't care. You actually promised her half of the souls in the universe, and you never even
And
gave
you
them
never
to
gave
her."
him. Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah." And he just fucking stops. He's like, "There you go." And boom, fucking half the universe disappears. It was absolutely bonkers because it was like a fucking one panel to the next.
Yeah.
But in the films, they show you the dynamic action and the consequence of them wiping out fucking half of the universe. Like you feel it. Literally, I remember listening to people next to me in the theater fucking sobbing because Captain America said, "Oh God," at the end of fucking Infinity War. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, there was people fucking dying there, just crying and just bawling, knowing that Groot said, "I'm Groot." You know what I mean? Like, fuck, you remember that shit? That was wild, man. That was wild to me because I was like, I mean, I knew it was gonna be dark, but whoa, man. Fucking Peter Parker, Mr. Strange, I don't for Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Dude, there was people that were fucking distraught leaving the theater.
That was me.
Dude. Yeah, man. I mean, everybody was.
That was me. Like the Peter, I was able to hold my own, even like at what was it, Guardians, the first one where Groot up, like I was cool with that. But the Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. That
Oh yeah, because even Mike was like, "Yeah, dude." Like months later, James Gunn came out and people asked him like, "Hey, dude, like at the end when Groot says, 'I'm Groot,' what's he saying?" And he's like, "Oh, he says, 'Dad, I'm scared.'"
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Dad, I'm scared." He calls Raccoon Dad, and it fucked everybody up, dude.
That one, it was fucked up, but it didn't like get me. I think because I just felt a connection with. And by the way, you had mentioned, you had said that Andrew is your favorite Spidey. I think you said.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm team what's his face? Tom Holland. I'm team Tom Holland, dude. So like,
he's a good kid.
I love him as Spider-Man, and then just him with the Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good, and
that was a perfect line, dude.
He gets dusted, bro. Like I was in shambles.
I mean, nobody was anticipating
shambles. Yeah, I was in shambles. Yeah. So
I mean, it was one of those things that nobody was anticipating. And then Infinity War, when it came out, Endgame, it went right for the jugular right at the beginning, and it left you so open-ended, and you just didn't know what to think. You didn't know how it was going to turn out. Yeah. In those, you can respect the freedom that the company took in some of those, because with what they had, they made it work. That's the thing. But we can safely say that Marvel pretty much has it all back. They don't have to take
Pretty much.
chances with what they got anymore. You know, does that mean a lot of this stuff is going to be a lot more comic book accurate? Because I will vouch as a comic book reader with probably a couple of others in the comic book section, or not in the comic book section, but in the comment section, that I hope when they bring in the mutants, they don't start with the Krakoa storyline.
But just to stop it really quick, and again, I think we need to keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
No matter what rights they have, there's just certain storylines they can't do 100% because again, they didn't write it. Like there are people that are coined writing this stuff, so they can have access to all of the characters they want. But if they do a certain storyline, or if they do a certain
Yeah, they have to get permission from the
novel,
author and the writers and stuff.
it's not
Which
even
usually they do.
it's not even permission. It's like
Yeah.
they're gonna have to pay for it. So and I don't and it's been a track record that Marvel and Disney are not in the business of paying these people for the rights.
Yeah, they're still trying to
So that
slash Stan
that's
Lee and his family.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. So I think that's what's sad about this is because I've acknowledged right now in this conversation that you and I will never see the same movie, and you and I will never have the same enjoyment for the same movie, and it'll never happen because they will never become book accurate because they don't own the rights to none of this shit.
And you
They
know what?
don't own rights to this shit.
And you know what? That's a really, really important point. The reason why I say that is because traveling into a little bit of the next section that I kind of wanted to talk about is a couple of months ago. I didn't even know about this. A couple of months ago, there were some leaks for Thor: Love and Thunder. And there are some. Someone said there's like a video. I didn't get to see a video, but there's some pictures of some shit that I saw that I'm kind of casually, hugely fucking disappointed.
Oh,
and you know
shit.
it's super sad, dude. It's super sad to say that
I
because I said this at the convention with a friend of mine, and I was like, "Bro, I sound like a complete asshole saying that, though."
What'd you say, yo?
So one was they do show how they've taken care of the situation with the Hela, the broken hammer, and all this other.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I don't know if anybody's seen pictures. If you look it up, you can find it.
Yeah.
But there is a memoriam made, a big old Asgardian temple, kind of like steps. And right in the middle of it is where the broken hammer is. And it's in like a well. It looks like a well with a glass top over it.
Okay.
And a bunch of Asgardian guards are just standing around it all day. So it's almost very familiar to like the Tomb of the Forgotten Soldier, the Tomb of the, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, there's a tomb in Washington or something like that. Can't remember off the top of my head. It's one of the capitals.
Yeah.
And every day, like a different set of Marines go, and there's like a big ceremony for them to switch guards, but they're always watching over the tomb of that forgotten soldier.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. So there's guards around it at all times. Well, in one of the pictures, it shows that the guards are not there. Jane Foster's there.
Okay.
And she's wearing typical Jane Foster shit. Yeah, there you go. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington, D.C. There you go. Thank you, John. Out of respect. Thank you, sir. She is standing on the backside of the tomb, or in the backside of the step area in front of the thing. She then floats up. The glass top of the thing is off, and she's like acting possessed or whatever, which signifies the idea that the hammer is giving her powers or fuck starting her into being Jane Foster or whatever.
Yeah.
One, her showing up to that site, if it starts with her saying that the hammer is calling to her, I'm going to be a little bit because that's the exact same entrance as Thor. It's the exact same. With Jane Foster, it was different because the hammer was on the moon. She got the powers prior and grabbed the hammer from the moon.
Okay.
This one was, I think I talked to you about this once. Thor, Volstagg is totally broken mentally with the death of a bunch of children in his arms. You know, a bunch of Surturs or Cinders, the daughter of Surtur, wiping out an entire light elf village, and him being covered in blood. The hammer calls to him, and the hammer from the Ultimate storyline, which looks more like Stormbreaker in the movie, the hammer, that hammer calls to him, and it's the hammer of a dead universe. Millions of souls live in that hammer, so all of that hate, death, and rage are all in that hammer, and that's what encourages him to be War-Thor. Cool fucking story.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool to think that that hammer that was broken by Hela stayed in the multiverse, even though that timeline was destroyed. If you think about it, right? For them going back in time and changing everything and all that stuff, and Captain America staying in the past and all that stuff, it did change the timeline.
Yeah,
there has to be stuff that was changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that hammer was part of a world that does not exist anymore. Yeah. So that broken hammer that is still on that ground knows that shit changed. So it could be calling to her because it's calling her because, you know, it craves, I don't know. Do I want that? No, because Jane Foster wasn't a violence character. 2, and this is the part that I sound like a complete and utter fucking asshole for saying it. But dude, she has all her hair.
We haven't seen them
have cancer.
Where? We haven't seen the movie yet, though.
In the pictures, she's there and she's in a denim jacket, white.
Dude, we haven't seen the movie yet. We don't know. We don't know.
She doesn't. She has her full head of hair.
Okay, that could just.
I mean, it makes me sound like a complete fucking asshole that she's not bald, and I don't.
We haven't seen the movie. We haven't seen the movie.
I know.
We haven't seen it yet. She could possibly lose her hair. That is kind of a scumbagish thing, but whatever it is. And you have your thing. Like that's
my gripe. My gripe is.
I have a question to you though. I have a question. I want to ask anybody in the comments as well.
Good point, Mike. I didn't even think about that.
You brought up a great point. We have yet to see the effects of what has happened to the multiverse since Captain America went back in time to deliver all the. Yep. When are we going to see that? If you have a guess, when do we see that? If we ever see it, do you think we'll ever see it?
If there's one point that I think we'll eventually see it,
that's an arc or TV show itself. That's a TV show right there.
My thing is it's going to be one in the Sam Falcon Captain America movie. The reason why I say that is because, of course, my 100% belief that the next iteration of Captain America we are going to see is Captain Hydra. And the reason why is because when Captain America fought Avengers Captain America from the first movie, he hits him with the fucking staff, tells him Bucky was still alive. But right before that, he got the staff from all the Hydra agents and told them he was a Hydra agent. So once he wiped himself's mind, that person can then be influenced by whoever they need to. So the Hydra agents are going to pick him up and take him to a Hydra scientist to get him fixed when he's all absent-minded, and they're going to make him believe he's a Hydra agent. So that's how young Captain America is going to be Captain Hydra. Old Captain America that stayed behind is going to be, mark my words, he's going to end up being the Nick Fury on the moon that is the man on the wall who ends up being the villain in Original Sin. Now, the reason why I say that is because, yes, in the comic books, we have a black Nick Fury who looks like Sam Jackson. But he does have a stepfather who is the white Nick Fury from the 90s comics and TV and all of that stuff. Yeah. That white Nick Fury is still alive, and he lives on the moon. And he's one of the dudes that wiped out the Watcher. And then he took his eyeball and knew everybody's truths.
And we're getting that in the MCU.
I guarantee it. And that's why in the Falcon
they're going to change. They're going to change. They're going to change one of the black characters. Right.
No, he wasn't black on that one. No, Nick Fury Black was on Earth. His dad was in the moon.
But you think they're doing that in like the MCU?
Yes.
They're gonna take one of the
reason why we even have original or unworthy Thor is because of Original Sin. The reason why we have God Butcher is because of the sin.
I think you're out of your freaking mind. There is
that's what I'm saying. They're not going to take out Nick Fury. They're not going to make a white Nick Fury.
Okay.
What they're doing is they're putting Steve Rogers as the Man on the Moon. They're gonna make him. They're gonna make him the white Nick Fury in the comic books. Black Nick Fury is dealing with Secret Invasion.
Oh, okay. So
again,
okay. So I got what you're saying.
Okay,
It
so
should
remember,
be. I don't think you. Okay, I got it now. You
the
think
old
that?
man Captain America that gives the shield,
Yeah.
he lives on the moon.
Okay.
The reason why I say that, and it sounds weird as fuck, and I know it sounds stupid, but every time they had a chance, that was the reference in Falcon and Bucky. Yo, whatever happened to Captain America? Yo, man, I heard he lives on the moon. Why the fuck would they say that? Well, the reason why is because he's on the moon, because that's the original Sin storyline.
Yeah.
The Black Nick Fury was on Earth, but the old 90s Nick Fury that everyone remembered was a character called the Man on the Wall, who Bucky ends up being. And he was the first Avenger. When there was an alien coming to the planet, he killed it. When there was a Celestial coming this way, he shot it with a bullet that could take it out.
Yeah.
Well, during a comic book arc, sooner or later, Nick Fury's, the David Hasselhoff Nick Fury. That's who it ends up being. But it's just so crazy. And the reason why I say that is because of the way that he acts at the ending of the film. When Falcon, Sam looks at him and goes, oh shit, like he sees the ring and he's like, oh man, you want to tell me about her? And he's like, I don't think I will. Why would he choose not to tell his best friend about his most important thing in his life? Why would he choose it as a secret? Because the entire story of Original Sin is about everyone's dark secrets. And the thing that Captain America had to do was go back in time and put those stones back in their time periods. But he got to see everybody that wasn't worthy like he was to be a hero. You know what I mean? So he like,
you
see what I'm saying, right?
That's just no. I mean, that's the story itself. It's like what happened during that time. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's a series. That's a movie. That's whatever the fuck they want to come up with. That will write itself.
Yeah, I think they're both dynamically great stories, and they're both really good ideas for someone like Chris Evans to want to come back to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to come back and just be Captain America. Yeah. I bet you he would want to come back and be a Captain America that's a villain because he's a Hydra agent, but he's able to pick up Thor's hammer because he's worthy.
Would you see that? Would you want to see that in maybe like a 9 or 10 episode series? So I would like to see that. No, you want to see the movie? Like you want to see that in like
no. You know what? As a matter of fact, now that you say it, if they do it as a 9 series, I would like to see it almost the way the comic books went. Which was like the first one was there is a problem in space, in Manhattan, and in the air.
Yeah.
And Captain America is behind all three, and they're all 3 different ways to trap all the different strengths of all the heroes. Mm-hmm. All the heavy hitters are in space fighting the Chitauri, which is a villain we've already had in the films, so it wouldn't be far-fetched. The other ones are with Doctor Strange fighting like demons or evil things in Manhattan, and then it gets trapped by the Darkhold, and everything is covered in complete darkness. And then the last one is they attack Hydra attacks the helicarrier, and the dude, of course, it's this guy who I forgot his name, but he's able to like control people with his voice.
Okay,
I forgot his name. He's a Red Skull villain. He's a part of the Hydra team. He's going around the helicarrier, making people on an intercom, controlling people, and he's slowly taking over the base. But what's her name? The girlfriend, Carter, Sharon Carter, remembers his voice because it was him who brainwashed her into shooting Steve Rogers in Civil War.
Okay.
So that goes back all the way to that comic. So she ends up remembering like, oh, fuck, that's that guy. I can hear the frequency and all this stuff. And then the Hydra ends up coming into the deck. Everybody's got their hands up. You know, they arrest Sharon Carter or whatever. And Captain America's like, put your guns down because I'm the man behind the needle or whatever. And all the Hydra agents are like, bet, bro. Cool. Nice to meet you, boss. And Sharon's like,
you got it.
The fuck did you say? And he's like, look, this looks bad, but I love you, and if you let me explain, I could totally make this make sense. And she's like, fuck you, I fucking hate you, I can't believe you did this. From there it's like complete wild. And then Captain Marvel, she's in space with Hyperion and all these other Quasar and all these other heavy hitters, and she gets on the microphone and she's like, Steve, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's getting rough out here, we need backup, what's going on? And he's like, did you guys get the shield? Because they wanted to use a shield that protects the Earth, like a force field that Tony Stark created, and they get it started in space with them trapped up there. And she's like, well, what's going on? You got to drop the shield so that way we can get back inside and stuff. And Captain Rogers is like, well, that's the thing. Well, we don't really want you to come back. Like, yeah, I'm a Hydra agent. You're really not invited to the party. When you cool down and you want to work it out, we'll let you back in. But for now, like, we actually have the Chitauri Queen here.
Yeah.
That's why the invasion keeps coming, and they're not going to stop until they get her back. But you're not going to get her back because she's on Earth, trapped, and you're out there fighting. So you just keep dealing with that shit. We'll be down here. Yeah, dude. It's strategic because it's scary to see someone be that's been the hero all this time to be the fucking villain of that nature, to work with Hydra, to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's so crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would definitely like to see it come to fruition for you.
It's great.
I mean, you seem pretty stoked about it. So I want to see this translate onto.
I mean, do you remember when it made national news when everyone was freaking out because he said Hell Hydra?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's talking to Eric Selvig, which is the scientist dude from the Thor movies, the guy with his underwear. Yeah. We're talking about Marvel movies. Oki, good to see you, my man. I haven't seen you in a long time. That's my boy. He's a member of the podcast at THC, the Human Condition. My dog. Yes. Good man. But yeah, we're talking about comic books. We're talking, of course, that's what we always talk about. But yeah, it is a huge, and this is what I always talk about, those dynamic changes in the stories that you're just not comfortable with.
Yeah, that
makes for great storytelling because it gets an emotional value or emotional push out of you, which is what wasn't there in the first place. Captain Hydra is one of those stories, and so is Original Sin. Original Sin is so important because it creates the Thor storyline, because Nick Fury sees the Original Sin of Thor and the Asgardians as being like privileged. And when he's fighting, he's literally fighting fucking Thor on the moon. And he goes up to his ear and he literally tells him, Gore the God Butcher was right. You are not worthy. And he remembers it because Gore was just a normal alien that fought against the gods because the gods put themselves on pedestals amongst regular people or above regular people.
Yeah.
So even with that, like the Gore the God Butcher story, like it has to be intact. There's so many great things that happen. The only thing that kind of sucks is they already did like smashing the two hammers together, right? They did that a lot in fucking Endgame, and in the fucking comic books when Thor does it, it literally destroys this thing called a God Bomb. But yeah, man, yeah, definitely, it's probably one of those things that there's a lot of things that I'm just hoping that it really portrays to. Christian Bale being Gore the God Butcher has already got me fucking flabbergasted because when Trigger was on the show, he was like, nah, dude, there's no way he's going to play that because that's a shitty part for him. And I was like, no, you watch, dude. He's going to love that role because it's Shakespearean, super Shakespearean. Gore the God Butcher is going to be a great villain.
1000%. I heard like it's going to be a really good movie.
Man, if you guys ever get a chance out there, try to catch up on the omnibus of Gore the God Butcher storyline. If you get a chance, Marvel Unlimited, it's like $9 a month. The entire storyline is there. You can read it on your mobile devices. It is so worth it. It really, really is. Gore the God Butcher and the Thor storyline, it's amazing. Loki's amazing. All of them are amazing, all the stories. But onwards to a little tidbit. I know we got a little bit of time. Tell me about what you heard about Obi-Wan.
Oh, well, since you mentioned it, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yes. So, as everybody knows, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, is coming to HBO. What is it? Not HBO. It's coming to Disney Plus. I'm sorry. It's coming to Disney Plus May 25th. I think it is.
Yeah, May 25th.
May 25th. It's going to start. But anyone that is foaming at the mouth like I am for the first trailer, you guys might not have to be waiting around so much longer. As of today, it said that either next Wednesday or next Thursday, which is going to be March 9th or March 10th, we will get our first look into the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with our first trailer.
There's been
Now,
some really
now,
cool
mind you, this is just a rumor, but we could get our first look at the show next week, sir. I pose this question to you, being that we are 1 week away from, or less than a week away from our first trailer from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, knowing that Haydenson and everybody's going to be in the show. What is your anticipation level for this? Like, where are you at right now on a scale of Boba Fett episode 3 to
Man,
10? Where are you right now? Tell me.
I mean, I can vouch to say that the last, what was it, episode 5 and 6 of the Boba Fett story were probably like some of the greatest shit Star Wars has done in a while.
Facts.
So them us getting something like that finally in so long, it really felt good. And now for us to actually be returning to two of the major steepled characters, two of the most pillared characters throughout the franchise, Obi, and knowing that Christian Haydenson is coming back to do Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, there is huge hype around this. Huge hype. One of the things I'm kind of iffy about, though, is there is big talks of them bringing Darth Maul back.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yes.
I'm kind of.
Come on, man!
No,
You can't
because
be
and
you
the
can't
reason
be
why
too cool. You can't be too
the
cool
reason
for bringing
the
back Darth Maul,
but the
dog.
reason why I'm kind of iffy about it is because when they ended the Darth Maul reign, it was fucking beautiful, poetic, the way that it went all the way through, all the way to the ending, the campfire. The artists even used the same techniques, even remembered the original battle between him and Qui-Gon. When he rose his sword, he went back to his original position, then back to Qui-Gon's. He sliced the same way Qui-Gon did, but instead returned. Like, it's very critical of how Obi-Wan grew and learned from Qui-Gon Jinn's mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very poetic. It's like masterful if you don't see those options. And then for them to be like, bet we killed Darth Maul off in some cool way, but fucking we're gonna put more robot shit in him and turn him into a giant spider like we
We're
did.
gonna put more robot shit in
more. Which, I mean, I get, man. Okay, I'm one of those people. Without the idea of the Clone Wars or the Rebels cartoon, we don't have a lot of Darth Maul that we deserve.
True.
We literally don't. Which, when Solo came out, and there was that possibility that Darth Maul was going to be in it, everyone was fucking like, dope, yeah, fucking Darth Maul. Why? Because he did a flip with a bow staff lightsaber. Like, I get it, dude. He's a cool motherfucker. Like, but we want more. Where the fans that are super hype jumped into the cartoon and spent the time watching the cartoon, and we got a lot of backstory for him there. You know, all the way from him being the Emperor of the Mandalorians, you know, to him fucking teaching Ezra, introducing him to the Emperor, teaching Ahsoka, you know, even working alongside Ahsoka Tano, not being just a villain, him almost, I guess, falling off of the Sith pathway and just being a normal person that's just evil. Like, you know, like there's a lot of story to him.
Yeah.
Which I would just simply tell people, watch that because it's already established and it's there. Like, now the possibility of them going into it and resurrecting him and bringing him back, we have a huge opportunity for it to be another Boba Fett situation where they're going to take it and do a little too much. And we're going to be like, wait, you should have just left it the way it was. It was good like that. You know what I mean? And then that's always the risk. It's always the risk. Do I mind them? Fuck no, Darth Maul's a bad motherfucker. What I want is I want to see that casual descent of Anakin in flashbacks.
Okay.
I want to see that part where, like, yeah, we got the camaraderie in the original prequels, not the original prequels, the second iteration of Star Wars prequels, where Obi-Wan and Anakin were always kind of like making fun of each other or doing little pop shots and doing little quip quotes and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then, we know Anakin hates sand people. Like, just through and through, it's just those two major things. It's either quippy stuff.
I mean, he has a legitimate gripe with them. He's got a
yeah,
he's got a legitimate gripe with them.
Yeah, saying. I mean, but like, I want to see. There was a really cool Clone War part that a lot of people put up, and they were like, I saw it in a video, and it was like, oh, can you imagine if this is the way it started? And it's Anakin and Obi-Wan wearing their Clone Wars armor, right? And it's like Obi-Wan's about to go to sleep, and he's like, Anakin, you should get some rest. And he's like, no, Master, you get some rest. I don't want to rest. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go to sleep and you keep an eye out. And he's like, I can't rest knowing that my Padawan failed me, that my Padawan disappointed me. Or like he's complaining about Ahsoka, like Ahsoka leaving him. But he's so emotionally charged. And then he asks Obi-Wan or tells Obi-Wan, like, when you were teaching me, you were like my father. You took me under your wing and you told me things and I did everything you ever asked. Like, how would you feel if I told you to sleep knowing that the person that you loved or gave that much work to and all this respect, like, went against you? Like, would you be able to sleep? And Obi was like, yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to sleep. Like, I get it. But then again, it's like, it's very crazy to see that Obi-Wan, like, he almost nurtured the fact that Anakin was so emotionally charged. Like, there's times where he just didn't like tell him, hey, you shouldn't think that way because Jedis don't do that shit. Jedis don't work in emotions and shit. He never like did that to him.
Yeah. He
let him fuck with that stuff because that's the way Qui-Gon was.
Yeah.
That's the way Qui-Gon was. And, it was a big fucking mistake for what it turned out to be. But that small little, like, I want to, there's, if anybody has the opportunity, this goes out to anyone out there in the fucking video land. This is podcast land too on Spotify and all that good shit. Type in Obi-Wan has PTSD. Like, type that shit in and you will see the craziest fucking video, which is, it's a video that's cut from the original movies, the old school movies, the actor, and he's sitting down with Luke Skywalker and he gives him the lightsaber and he's telling him about his father and all this stuff. But some G motherfucker went out and, like, every part of that story where this man is telling you about Anakin, he's putting cuts of the fucking prequels, like
word for word, like
word for
shot,
word, and then shows like the part that he's referencing.
Word for shot, yeah.
You can see in the actor's face, like, almost, like you could see all the emotional distraught when he's like, oh, your father, he was an amazing man. And he shows him like smiling and the Christian Haydenson, like them all camaraderie. He had such amazing skills, a backflip, him cutting someone, him flying the plane and him being a kid. And then he's like, and then he was killed by a man named Darth Vader. And then it's his face when he's fucking in the lava place and he's all turning into Darth Vader. And he's like, I hate you. And it's all cut to the original part of Luke and the old man. And it is the most emotional fucking Star Wars video I've ever fucking seen in my whole life, dude.
Gonna watch that.
It is, it's amazing. And I fucking hope that this is where they got inspiration for the Obi-Wan show.
Okay.
And it's not too far-fetched because, like I've said before, there are other stories that these people, like the Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, they took from a Reddit theory that fucking Daniel Russo was the fucking villain of the whole show.
Yeah.
Like, there is so much of this that they could have taken, and I really hope so. That's all I can say. Well, I'm going to watch it with you when we finish this episode. I'm going to make you watch that shit with me now. And I'm going to make you watch that shit. And I want everybody in the comment section to make sure they watch that video. Obi-Wan has PTSD. But yeah, I'm really excited for the Obi-Wan story because there is a huge part of Obi-Wan's life that is not talked about, which is when he becomes Obi-Wan Kenobi of the desert, the old crazy man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the idea of, him protecting Luke without Luke knowing he was ever in danger, all of that aspect, I think it's a really, really big story plot. Like even the part, because that was the craziest thing out of Rebels is when it
Yeah.
ends. You know what part I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm thinking
It's
about it. Yeah.
yeah, it's the in the distance. It's the house that Luke is living at with his aunt and uncle,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and Obi is at a little fire, like a little camp in the middle of the fucking desert, just watching from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there with Ezra. They're talking about fucking the Force, and they're doing fucking gangster shit. And then boom, out of nowhere, like on a Wampa, fucking Darth Maul shows up. And Ezra's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was being followed." And Obi's like, "Yo, no hard feelings, Ezra. You go ahead and head out. I'm gonna talk to this dude. We're gonna have some words."
We got some
And
words.
Ezra takes off, and him and Darth Maul are there. He's like, "I fucking can't believe." Darth Maul's literally like, "I can't believe you're over here being a bitch in this desert, being a bitch." And he's like, "We're gonna do this." And Obi-Wan's like, "Yo, bet." And he's like, "What are you here for anyways?" And he's like, he doesn't say anything. Then Darth Maul notices the house in the back, and he's like, "Wait, are you here protecting that house?" And then fucking Obi-Wan turns on his fucking lightsaber. And that's when you know business is business, because Obi-Wan's like, "I ain't talking. We're getting this. I'm here to protect."
Getting it in.
That's
We're
it.
getting it in.
And he's like, "Bet."
So
And
I think that's what we talked about that. Like I love the fact that there are just certain things that are on site and Star Wars. I love that fact. Like we don't even have that in the MCU. Like, but in Star Wars, we know that if Obi-Wan and Darth Maul see each other on site,
shit is gonna hit the fan.
if Obi-Wan and Anakin see each other on site,
Oh
like
man, that's
there's
gonna be
like
hard.
that's
Man.
it. It's on site. Like if we ever
Oh.
see them in a frame together, it's not to be talking so much to each other. Like they may give a little bit of dialogue, but it's on site.
I'll tell you
I
what.
love that shit.
Before we wrap it up, because we're gonna wrap it up right now. The one thing that I'm probably most excited for is that one of the last thing on Rebels is there is a graveyard scene that Darth Vader walks up to, and when he walks up to it, remember the last time he had seen Ahsoka Tano was in the temple. He thought she was dead. He thought she was just non-existent anymore.
Yeah.
But in that temple, in that graveyard, it's all the stormtroopers that helped protect Ahsoka Tano after Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the ones that she was the closest to, and they're all buried because she loved them. She loved the stormtroopers, the clones. And in that part were Ahsoka Tano's original blades, like the original lightsabers, like there in memoriam. And Darth Vader, not Anakin, Darth Vader looks down and sees the blades and looks up with the eyeball of Anakin, which means that it wasn't Darth that saw those blades. It was Anakin. And Anakin questioned at that moment, is Ahsoka still out there? So my excitement for this show coming up is, are we going to get an Ahsoka Tano Vader reunion? Are we going to get that in this show? We know that she lives. We know that he lives through it. So
the fact that we just got Ahsoka just out the blue in fucking Boba Fett, I'm not keeping it off the table. It's a huge possibility.
Yeah.
And it would be dope. And it'd be fucking dope. And you know what? Star Wars needs that. Like they need this shit. They need all of this. Whatever comes along with, them keeping their fandom or whatever, they need it all.
Straight. Guys, what are you most excited for the Obi-Wan show that's going to be coming out? What are you anticipating? Are you waiting for Darth Maul? You hoping for another Ahsoka Tano? Or are you just waiting to see the big man himself, Darth Vader? Guys, leave it in the comments. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us again on this Friday night with the average. I got the hiccups. I've been fucking eating Pocky. I've been drinking my Red Bull. I'm fucking getting it. Had a great time, guys. I got to say thank you so much for tuning in. To all our extraordinary listeners, we thank you so much. Brian, my dude, thank you so much for
Sir,
chilling with it.
it is a
Hitting it.
pleasure. Every week is a pleasure.
Thank you for selling me the Batman movie. I am so excited to go see it.
Yeah,
Guys, if you've
right,
seen
bro.
the movie, Octavio, man, I miss you, man. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing great. Let me know what's going on, man. I feel like I haven't heard from you in such a long time. But definitely, guys, don't forget next week on the show. I forgot to say this earlier, but we did give a little tease to it. We're going to have a special guest next week. We should, if his schedule does not change. Actually, we're going to have 2 guests. One is our big dog, Michael Murphy, Mr. 90s retro gamer himself, the man behind Ninja Land Party. He's one of the coolest dudes down here. He's a good friend of mine, but he recently got me hooked up with a man named Rick Diaz. If you don't know who Rick Diaz is, he is the director of photography for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix. And he's also one of the DPs on Stranger Things, which he's working on right now in Canada. Dude is a G. I hit him up this week and he was like, fuck yeah, man, I'll get on the show. Give me about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. We can talk everything as much as I can. We'll try to drop some shit about the new Stranger Things series. Also, he's going to see if he can bring a friend of his, which, man, dude, if he could bring like the director of Texas Chainsaw, I'd be so down. What a cool dude to talk to. Fuck, if he even brought on Leatherface himself, I'd be a G for it too. But straight up, it's going to be an exciting show next week here, 9 p.m. The Average Boys Podcast with Rick Diaz and Michael Murphy, Brian, myself. We're all going to be on the show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hype. We're going to be bringing the questions, of course, about Texas Chainsaw and, of course, about Stranger Things.
I've seen it. You've seen it, right? You've seen it.
I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that shit this weekend because I'm gonna make sure that I do my homework. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things, but I mean, it's a slasher movie, man. I want to just see violence. I don't give a shit about, I don't want Easter eggs. I don't want anything. I just want straight G shit. That's all I want. And that's what I'm excited for. Also, not even to mention that, I totally forgot. Rick is also from here in the Valley. He comes from Sherryland, which he's a Sherry boy. And then the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's from Harlingen, which is where we just had our convention. These are Valley boys, dude, that are making this stuff. So
making it big, man.
Dude, putting us on the map in such great ways. So super excited. I'm super happy these guys are going to want to come on the show. Like I said, he's down, but he's in Canada right now. He's going in between shots and work. He said he's going to try his best to be on. If his schedule changes, he'll let us know. But by Wednesday, I'm going to make sure I put the announcement out. But for sure, next Friday, he's supposed to be here on the show, guys. So come join us. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the workers that's on it, director of photography, and Stranger Things also. So, guys, don't forget, come by, check us out next week, 9 p.m. here on the Average Boys Podcast Live. Come and ask questions. Come and talk to us. Guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google, fucking your iPhone, your Razor, your N-Gage, whatever system your fucking
Sidekick.
Yeah, your Sidekick, whatever
pager,
phone you're bagging, your Nokia, NG, fucking brick ass phone, your fucking Zach Morris phone, whatever you're banging. Guys, make sure you're following the podcast. Guys, tell your friends about it. We're here every Friday. We're here all week. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much. Make sure you're staying safe. Take care of each other. Don't shake babies. I don't know.
Don't shake babies.
Don't shake babies. All right. We'll see you guys again next week here, Facebook Live.
Don't shake babies.
Laters.